Welcome everybody, here we are on this beautiful Saturday morning. We are here at BostonBlueBeat's monthly event here. We're going to be going live with Guilty Gear Strive in just a couple minutes. I'm the Doctor, being joined here by the ever-wonderful Lasergician. How you doing today, my man?
I'm doing good now. It's been a long time coming. We've been waiting for this for about an hour or two. We were sitting and chatting, had some good discussions about the future of the FGC, and now I am excited for the future of this bracket.
Yes, those brackets are always insane here at the monthlies. Tons of good players. I know you were scoping out the competition. Most notably that I haven't seen today is actually Kenny.
I didn't either. I was talking to Dan a little bit earlier. Lucky D, for those who know him, said doesn't think Kenny's going to make it out today, which is just tough. Always a good time watching that kid. The kid's insane. Yeah. And, you know, the Gold Lewis always makes for some highlight moments. But we got some real good names in there. Notably, I saw Kazam, who I always enjoy watching. Very notable Amelia player.
Yeah, did very well at East Coast Throwdown. You know, regularly enters like the TNS bracket, the Wednesday Night Fights bracket, and things like that. I've seen him at the Casa bracket a few times. Making top 8 there as well. I do believe he actually has a Casa title as well. Won one of our weekly events. But they went to Evo too, I believe.
Yep. Also notably on their stream lately has been messing around with a couple other characters.
Oh, really?
Last week has been on Nagoriyuki.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Very strong character. I believe, though, not choosing to stick with Nago, according to their Twitter, as of noon yesterday, something like that. So we'll see.
Are they coming over to the leverless side?
I don't know.
Well, you said not stick, so. I know pads are more broken than anything, so.
That's true.
I mean, if you look at, the top tournament winners, they're all for the most part on pad, at least in North America. I play leverless.
Me too.
As I say, I believe you do as well.
Yep.
So speaking of leverless, I do want to give a shout out to Junk Food Arcades. They were kind enough to sponsor Boston Blue Beat, so we have tons and tons of good stuff in the upcoming time for that. So if you guys are staying tuned to the Boston Blue Beat Twitter, you definitely want to catch all that action, because I've talked to the man who owns everything here, and you're going to want to see what he has in store.
Speaking of what we have in store, if you are in the mood for some more Boston Blue Beat action in the upcoming months, we got our Burst Limit, which is an online ranking battle series. Anyone who doesn't know, this is an event series that runs for BlazBlue, runs I believe every Monday night. Way ranking battle series works is every time you place in one of these events, you get some points. At the end of the series, the maximum point earners are invited to an invitational event, and the winner gets some cool stuff.
Yeah, lots of good stuff coming out there. There's also going to be the invitational at the end for all the players with the highest points, like you were just talking about. And it's so funny to me that it's called a ranking battle, or like a Ranbat was like my first introduction to the version of this.
Right.
And every time I hear it explained and I look at it, I'm like, that's just a league.
It's exactly what it is.
Coming from a MOBAs, they'd be like, oh, I'm in, the Excellency League. And they're like, we run for X amount of weeks and we earn X amount of points. I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And then I come to the FGC and they're like, no, we do Ranbats. And I'm like, what is a Ranbat? Yeah. What? And so, people were explaining it, and I was like, yeah, then that's just a league.
The best part is the first time I ever heard the term Ranbat, it was for a random league. So it was a random select league. And so I thought all Ranbats were actually random select only. I'm like, okay, that's fun. And then they're doing a Ranbat for BBCF. I'm like, all right, cool. That seems impressive. BlazBlue is not a simple game. The characters are not homogenized in any capacity. Those are all very unique characters with a lot of depth to them. Yeah. So doing a random only battle for BBCF would be
impressive. I'll give you that.
It would be something. Yeah. Nope. Turns out I'm just a moron.
It's actually so funny that CF is in the state that it is in, because, obviously we come from Boston. We have Thantis here, who is like the guy for BBCF.
Yep.
And maybe I'm biased because I'm also from here, so I don't know what other people are running and hosting and doing everything required behind the scenes for, BBCF. But, he's been so hell-bent on teaching players and getting players involved and making sure that everybody has a good time at these BBCF events, and obviously running the Ranbat, which, is a great opportunity. But the culmination of this is, so we were all at East Coast Throwdown last weekend.
Yep.
It was Saturday night. And we were just all hanging out, like we were at the bar and checking out the arcade room and stuff like that.
As one does.
And Spencer found Brad Muse. He just found us, and we were talking about it, and he was like, hey, do you guys want to play CF? And we were like, what? He's like, yeah, I need to get more commentators in the CF world.
He's trying to recruit me too.
And so Brad was like, yeah, I just never get a chance to sit down because, like, I'm always either doing commentary at the monthlies or, like, I'm just doing other things.
Let me take a guess. Spencer's like, all right, I got you. Whipped out like 3 controllers. Said, it's time. Let's go.
He literally goes, I gotta set up in my room. Just let me go grab it.
I knew it.
And so he was like, yeah, just let me run and get it. And Brad's like, I don't have an excuse now. And so I quietly disappeared while they were doing that. And I came back a little bit later and they're playing. And I was like, all right, good for them.
So I was here, not the last one, but this one before that.
Yeah.
I was talking to him a little bit about Blaze Blue right after I finished up my Strive block. And I was like, all right, you know what? The game looks kind of sick. I'm going to give it a shot. I did for like 2 weeks after that event.
Yeah.
Was messing with some characters. Found Lychee, who's a staff character, almost like a puppet kind of character. So I usually like staff and mid-range characters.
Yeah.
Then I chose Anji for God knows what reason. But anyway. And then I found out she's an incredibly deep, technical, difficult character. And I'm like, why did I do this to myself?
That's the worst feeling when you get into a new fighting game and you pick a character off of like aesthetic or like what you perceive to be the game plan.
As you should, because you're not going to play a game unless you think your character's sick.
Yeah, and then you like have somebody explain it to you and you're like, oh no, what have I done? Whereas, I personally pick characters for the most part using the Luffy method, and it honestly hasn't, steered me wrong up until this point, right? Picking Laura and Mika in Street Fighter V, picking Giovanna in Guilty Gear, and then looking into Testament and Biken.
Yep.
Like it's worked so well. The only one where I didn't go that route was DNF, and I picked Inquisitor, and I picked a mid-ish tier, so I guess that kind of failed me there. But the character's just so freaking cool at every other aspect. I can't complain. But we are here for Guilty Gear Strive. I see stuff happening on the stream setup, but it's just somebody hitting buttons. It looks like. It looks like we're going to be getting Aerodat versus Jaouisha.
Yep, Aerodat, I believe we've seen in these brackets before. I recognize the name, don't recognize enough to know the character. Joshua. I'm just going to say Joshua. I'm going to assume.
Joshua.
That seems reasonable enough.
I don't know if they do that on purpose just to mess with us, but...
I mean, honestly, I've been messed with worse than that before.
Yeah, I was going to say, considering some of the names you get in online brackets, that is very appropriate, I will say. But I mean, no, looking at the bracket just in fully, it looks pretty good. We got Logan, Mr. L, Kazam, Aerodat, Jaouisha, SplatoonEnjoyer, Pauli. That says by one, and they're not actually moved through, so that's just that person's name.
Yep.
Lucky D versus Pilot. Mozz, who is probably a favorite to make grand finals in this event.
Agreed.
Sebastian, Gerudo, AggroCraig, ChippMcgill, Burkish, who's another strong player who's been playing a lot of Chip. It's Peep, Umami, Doc, and Ease. And so my top 3, looking at this bracket mildly blind, would probably be Kazam first, Mozz second, and depending on how seriously Burkish takes it, he could get third.
I'm thinking that's about right. I'm thinking of Kazam and Mozz potentially as top 2 winners. Look at the way things are upper versus lower half of the winner side of the bracket. We have seen Burkish do very, very well in the past as well, so that would not surprise me either.
I mean, he's also playing an incredibly strong character, too.
Yes.
Like, he's playing Chip at the moment, and if you guys have been paying attention to any of the online brackets or even EVO to a certain extent, Chip is feasting right now. Like, so many good turnouts, so many good players are picking up that character right now. The Fast RC changes did a lot of work for this character, and, it took a couple weeks to really flesh that out, but it's a new mechanic, roughly. It takes time.
I think one of my favorite parts about the Boston Strive scene, to me, is the character distribution,
yes.
and the meta, the microcosm meta that we have going on. We have very few, if no, Happy Chaos representatives. We have
Kite's the only one that I can think of offhand.
Very few Ramlethal representatives.
I can't think of any.
I can't think of any. It saddens me a little bit that we don't have any real Biken representation, but every now and again we get 1 or 2. I'm not going to call them O2ers, but we'll call them early exiters. But we have, in my opinion, more awesome characters than we have oppressive characters represented in Boston.
And I mean, we do have a Zato player or 2, which is always...
A couple Leos as well.
Yeah, but Leo's fun. I like watching Leo play. It's always super explosive. This patch, they nerfed him but buffed him in other areas, and I think people have kind of seen that. So we saw a little bit more Leos after the patch than we did before that. It seems to be tapering off as the meta is settling and things like that.
Agreed.
But like we have, no Bikins like you were saying, which is honestly crazy to me because Bikin is insane right now.
Bikin is such an interesting case right now because she has one win at a major in Canada Cup.
Yeah.
Shout out Memo Carp. Great guy. And that's about it. Otherwise, Bikin is extremely underrepresented at like a tournament level, despite being unanimously agreed, like you're saying, to be a very strong character.
I mean, Remethal's in the same boat, honestly.
Yeah,
that character doesn't have like any major wins. There was a Remethal player that won Series E this week.
Yep.
SQ took it over Marvello, who was playing Chip.
Yep.
Spoilers for those of you who care about those types of things, but like that's the only one that I can think of recently. Granted, my memory is kind of terrible, so like I'm sure that somebody could find another Remethal win that is like, no, see, like Series E is like the tippity top of the online world right now in terms of skill level. So if you're a Remethal player winning that's important. But outside of that, like Evo, there was no Remethal in top 8. ECT, I think there was one Remethal in top 8. Like the character is the problem, but they're not showing up in results. And I keep saying that, and then I immediately followed up with, but results-based analysis doesn't actually matter.
Absolutely. And in addition to that, Strive is a balanced enough game to where your skill can overcome the majority of character strength discrepancies. Now, there are some characters that are going to be pretty easy to make that skill discrepancy shown.
Yeah.
Shout out Umisho, who is just stupidly good at the game, and also she plays an incredibly good character.
That character, so pre-patch, that character was like the problem because everyone was like, oh, it's just zoning, and I was like, yeah, but like if you do this or this or this, like these are all mix-up tools.
Yeah.
Like this character doesn't have to be full screen from you.
Yeah, but it's designed to be a mix-up character.
Everybody was like, no, that's not how you play Happy Chaos. I was like, no, sure, I understand, but if this character's zoning gets nerfed, as long as they don't touch the rest of the character,
there's a fallback
It's going to be a mix-up character. And everyone's like, you don't know what you're talking about. Patch 2.0 drops, and now we get insta-roll through gunshot, Goomba stomps, instant air headshots, and I'm like, you guys are stupid.
Looping wall slumps is kind of good.
Yeah, that's one of the craziest adaptions that I've seen because for so long, the game plan was get a wall splat, overdrive, take the positive bonus, and the Oki. The Oki's important.
Yep.
And then just continue your game plan. And now we're getting Chips and Milias and Happy Chaoses that are like, positive bonus, who cares?
You know what we're getting now, though? It looks like it's going to be our first game in the bracket. We got Aerodat, we got Jaouisha. Looks like it's going to be a Soul, and I believe Joshua was on Testament?
Right now they're on Jacko.
Yep.
But
notably one character selection away from Testament.
Yeah, and it's also, they're checking buttons, so I always kind of wait till that's done, but Jacko's a character that received a good amount of love in the 2.0 patch. We saw them for quite a while, and then they dropped off because people realized this character still requires a lot of work to be successful.
This is true.
But it's when you get the Jacko game plan going, it is really good. It's just that it's another one of those characters that doesn't have great reversal options. So if you're in the corner against a Chip, Amelia, or somebody like that, you can't just like DP out, basically.
Yeah, everyone in Strive has oppressive, disgusting offense if you can get it running. A lot of times it comes down to, okay, what can you do beyond that? Is your defense good? Is your blender good? Is your screen control good? Looking at the Testament, kind of a similar situation to Jacko, where a little bit less defensive of a character compared to the rest of the cast, but has significantly better screen control with those fireballs, with the Crow game. A lot of good mid-range tools, a lot of good keep-out tools.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple people out there that will say that Testament is kind of like the Wish version of Ramlethal.
Yep.
Very similar game, not similar game plan, I would say, because using the stain state effectively and things like that are different. But in terms of your normals, your reversal options, and things like that, they're fairly identical outside of like actual hard, frame numbers, which are a social construct for the most part.
It's true.
But like they have the the frame one reversal overdrive. They have the kind of long secondary overdrive as well that leads you into stain state on the wall break.
Big buttons.
big buttons, and the funniest thing that catches people off guard from Testament is their Arbiter sign, and every time it happens, I laugh so hard. I'm like, that's like 35 frames of recovery! If all you do is block, you get a punish for the most part. And people just get annihilated by it because it's a high-low mix.
Hey, it's me. I'm people.
But we got loaded into the game. It is going to be the sole bad guy Testament matchup. And this is an interesting one because a lot of sole bad guy players after the patch were like, what have they done to my boy?
And to an extent, that is kind of fair. Sol is a relatively massacred character compared to previous versions. However, when your starting point is so high, that only means so much. We're going to see going high into the air already. Aerodat managing to get corner pressure running. That stagger pressure off the CS is very, very good.
Yeah, but if we can start getting these teleports in, then maybe we can get some schmicks going on here coming in from Jaouisha, but not this round to say the least.
That is actually one tool we didn't talk about, is that mobility option in the teleport. Throw that crow out, get that set play going. You can use that for mobility instead if you so desire. One of those tools that is unique to Testament.
Yep, we got a nice little Arbiter sign coming out there into the Grave Reaper, which, as we all know, sets it up. There's the teleport option, but if you can just run up 6S like that, then teleport really doesn't matter all that much.
Doesn't go for the overdrive, just goes save the meter on that wall break. Blue RC starting off the round, but challenged pretty well.
That's definitely an interesting option to say the least. It worked out in the end, but that is now 50 tension you simply do not have, and that was a great RC option coming through.
Yeah, keep yourself safe and also get a punish option, but the throw to close out the round for Joshua does mean we're one apiece. Both players on the board. First, just about even. There it is. A little bit of damage coming through already for Aerodat. Burst spending early just to keep that corner pressure.
Just sets up the Grave Reaper, just trying to get it out, but if you're not going to chase that down, the teleport's going to be punishable. Gets that fast RC overhead, but it was just a JP, didn't believe in it. But Testament has one of the best 6Ps in the game as well.
Easy.
Like, it catches everybody.
Getting caught on the jump in. Mixing up a little bit on the empty gun flame. That's okay. Big counter hit is going to close out the round in favor of Aerodat. Pretty even game so far between these two.
Yeah, round one was a bit of a blow-up. There wasn't a whole lot to be done there.
Gaming.
Yeah, just soul bad guy things. But round two, much closer, much more even, I would say. And it looks like we went back to character select. So we'll see if Joshua has a different character to pick up.
Do it! Do it! Do it! Anji Gaming must happen today.
We had a nice conversation this week about Anji because...
Do it!
I don't know if you guys know this, but Faust is one of the characters of 3 in this whole game that have 0 guts.
Yep.
Right? So it's Faust, Bridget, and I can't remember this.
I believe.
No,
Milia?
It was a male character, I believe.
Really?
I genuinely don't remember the third, but
fair enough.
It spawned the fact that there's one single character in the entire game that has a guts level of 5, and it's Anji.
Yep. Anji is shockingly tanky.
But if you look at the effective health pool, it's actually not that high. They're about mid. It's just, it feels so tanky because it's all in that last couple of percentages.
Yep, it's really hard to throw games that against Anji sometimes. We do see not quite optimal counter hit combo coming out from the Anji, but that's alright. Good answer on the 5K. RC does allow for a punish, but gets interrupted pretty quick with that burst. Throw that? Yep, just going for the nice burst / punish.
Yep. But the problem is you cannot overshow fan dance.
Yeah,
right?
That is correct.
Because so bad guy is a character that can really beat you out. He can go for the wild throw, regular throw, or simply just wait and then get you a real punish.
Yep. If you overrepresent the spin, it is pretty easy to play around in neutral. Want to use that a bit more sparingly. Going for the hop off of empty Fujin is swatted out of the air by some Soul Bad Guy Gaming.
I would say that is probably the second worst option to show in that scenario. The only other one probably being overhead. But yeah, just throwing yourself at your opponent in the sky is asking for a punish. Yeah. Especially against Soul Bad Guy, right? Like they could have gotten anything and they would have punished. Gets the forward throw.
You're seeing Aerodat actually very, very strong at this RPS counterplay when coming out of Fujin. All right, not quite close enough to the wall for the JD routes to come through. Trying to control some space. Big counter hit comes out. Top comes through. Burst is expended. Have to do that, otherwise you're losing that round. Run up, throw. The truest of Anji gaming moments.
Yeah.
RC closes out the round.
That was a nice little sequence there. You know, the RC had potential to mess them up, but they got course corrected awkwardly. It still worked out for them though. Nice little falling counter hit coming through. Gets the knockdown.
I think Blue fuzzy jump to avoid that command grab. Pretty good payoff there, but Burst keeping things nice and safe. That big counter hit coming through. Ooh, drops a combo there. Isn't quite to the wall make. Burst expended.
DRC backwards, text the air throw. Oh, counter hit off of the Viper.
Looking for those dragon punches out of Aerodat. They have been represented throughout the set relatively frequently. Not the on the counter hit.
Oh, that was a different sequence than I typically see, but it worked out really well. But we do have to be careful that danger zone is represented here on Jaouisha.
One more hit. We'll do it for Aerodat.
Gets the burst
out. Look at the resources. A little bit more out of the back meter in favor of Aerodat. Half the trade, the 2D as a keep out option.
It is going to be first 2-3 though. Both players still sitting on the cap, and he's still going to believe in that Anji, which I think is good. I think the Anji was much, much better than the Testament, but I also think Testament's just a better character. Yeah, but it's one of those characters you have to play, and you have to learn the mix-ups and things like that. And we saw so many times that they would chase down the Unholy Diver with the teleport to get punished for it.
Alright, meter here in favor of Joshua. That doesn't really make much conversion out of it. That's okay. Alright, the fan needles very frequently here, and Aerodat's been playing around them very well with a little bit of fuzzy jumping, a little bit of backdashing, respecting the plus frames when it does land. Hasn't really been able to get any mileage out of the Fujin RPS so far.
Oh, that's a huge starter though. Fafnir takes him out of the corner, gets the counter hit on that one too.
The burst! Can't close it out though. Has the corner pressure, gets it anyway.
That's tough. You cannot just be bursting in that situations like that, because they actually nerfed a lot of bursting situations this patch, so it's much easier to go for the air burst and just be punished for it.
A lot of counter hits coming through for Joshua that aren't converting as well as they potentially could. That's alright. Maybe a bit of a secondary that they're trying to work on. FD out of the corner is getting some good spacing going. Leads to a 2S counter hit. Not bad. Reset with the Shih Tzu.
I would kind of prefer it if when they do get these knockdowns, they go for a side swap. Because right now they're trying to work themselves all the way to the other side of the screen, and it's against that guy. They're not going to care.
Now, Anji does have full screen carry outs this patch with the dash cancel pose.
Yeah.
But that is a very mechanically difficult thing to sub-character for you.
That should be enough to close it out. That is going to be 3-0 in favor of Aerodat. Going to be moving on. But yeah, Anji got some love. Definitely needs a bit more. But I keep asking this question every time I'm on stream. I keep asking what everybody's bottom one character is.
Ooh.
So before I go into my story, what is your bottom one character in Strive at the moment?
Okay, so because I am an Anji Mito main, and because I, along with a couple of other people, have been helping write the Anji Strive Bible, I am one of the few people who believes he is not bottom one.
I know, I feel that way too.
I would give it either to Potemkin or Axel. I'm thinking Axel, mostly because to me, his return is very, very low. He doesn't really get a lot off of an opportunity when he is able to find one.
Okay. That's actually the first time I've heard Axel. Okay. Potemkin was the funny one because I was doing a show, and I was like, people saying Faust is like bottom one.
No.
And, but that was like pre-patch. Pre-patch came,
right.
And they changed it up. And the person I was coming to was like, what about Potemkin? And I had to think for a second. I was like, I forgot Potemkin was in the game.
Potemkin's pretty bad.
I completely forgot he was even in Guilty Gear Strive. Therefore, for me, making him bottom one.
However, if you've been following the Twitter tech, it looks like people think Potemkin has an unblockable setup off of his energy field super.
Okay.
I don't think it's developed enough yet. The counterplay is developed enough yet to know if it is a true unblockable.
Yeah.
However, it is a nasty mix that gets you like 80% damage if it pops off.
That's fair. And I guess I'm spoiled because I get to watch some really good Axel plays. Like Like we had that script David this week showing up to the Casa event, and he's insane on Axel. Ended up taking it. We've seen a couple of really good Axels in like the TNS bracket lately too. So maybe I'm just spoiled, and you are right that the return from Axel is tough. But I think a lot of the adjustment to some players moving on over to making use of the One Vision overdrive, just really, really accentuating the usage of the time stop.
Yes.
I think that has shown some really good results. Because I mean, even if you guess wrong when you actually activate it, it's 0 on block.
Yeah.
So like it's not unsafe to just let it rip, and it's one of those characters where, like, using RC non-defensively doesn't get you a whole lot, right? Like you said, like you can't like red RC into some crazy Twitter combo. You can't really. You can use BRC very well at like round stir and stuff like that, but outside of that, like your RC options outside of yellow don't really matter all that much. So you could be right. Speaking of Faust, however, we're going to be having one on screen right now, and this is going to be
It's going to be AggroCraig versus ChippMcgill.
Which is fine. It is going to be Faust versus Chip, and Faust no longer loused. Definitely more midst this season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Very good zoning capabilities.
Oh, no burst?
If you don't understand how this character works, he will knowledge check you to death with the RNG. Banana Peel coming out. No potassium available so far.
Yeah, I mean, the RNG sometimes just, like, is more detrimental to Faust than it feels beneficial, but when you get touched, that's a safe jump. You have to respect that, and we're just going to die for it. But, I mean, I saw somebody for the first time get hit by multiple meteors, and that thing did, like, literally 50% damage.
It gets kind of nutty sometimes.
And I was like, okay, for the longest time, I thought it was just one projectile. I didn't realize they were all individual ones. Yeah. But, again, defensive options coming from Faust, not great. And Chip, with a lot of the new tech that's coming out and the players that are picking this character up, you kind of need some good reversal options.
I actually really like the gold burst option there. You're on one-touch scenario. You have no meter. You might as well literally go for gold. Yeah. See if you can make something happen. Get those items out there. But not going to happen this time. Quick 2-0 for ChippMcgill, getting to his quick 1-0.
Yeah, I mean, you get the 100 tension. You can either go for the knee breaker. I'll wake up like we saw in round 1. That was unsuccessful. Is it going to burst? No, they don't burst. That's so wild to me. Because once you're attached on the string, on the pull-in, if you burst, it doesn't actually pull you in. Mm-hmm. That's one of those knowledge checks things that you were talking about. But, like, I don't know, maybe Chip just doesn't care that much because they know that they can play the neutral better. But it does so much damage to Chip.
It really does. Chip, one of those characters, has very, very low effective health. Yeah. Does have Japanese guts, but lower survivability in general outside of the defensive DP, which is a very strong tool. Banana coming through, slips right onto it. Got little homie coming out too for Faust too.
Yeah, Mini Faust did receive some buffs this patch, but the targeting acquisition of it is still not ideal. But the trumpet comes through, going to run up, get that command grab, adding some hair to the Chip.
Looking pretty good. Yeah. And the trumpet is a really funny tool in that there's a lot of characters that do something like Leo throws a fireball, PRC, follow it in for a free approach, right?
Yeah.
Trumpet can act kind of similar if you're in a favorable enough position. If you just got a hard knockdown, often you'll go for an item throw as your Oki choice. If you can get a trumpet to come through, if it comes in time, then you get to just run up behind it as a nice approach tool, close that around with a throw as we saw there. Instead, bomb bag coming out this time.
Oh, and actually going to get the twirl. Just picks up all the combo, gets a command grab too. Ooh. That was a very slow button option coming in there from Faust. That one definitely hits. It's a very low damage overdrive though.
Is it close enough to the wall to break? I don't believe it is.
Doesn't matter. It had enough damage.
Yeah?
That's Chip.
You know what?
It's just Chip things.
That's one of those things you have to just accept if you're going to play Chip.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're just going to get killed. Your fly is going to get swatted. It happens. What you can do, shake it off, go into game 3, grab yourself a trumpet, get a DP. Doesn't matter. Got trumpeted anyway.
And I definitely think they could have gone for Pierce that time.
I agree.
It's a bit longer of a button than the one they opted for. I do like the idea, because if you hit that one pretty solid enough, then you get the stun state, I guess, where you have to mash out.
Rush.
Yeah, but getting hit by his own bomb, tons of damage lost there. Now you're in the corner against Chip, one touch away from dead.
Meter. spends it. Ooh, drops the combo, though. Can't quite get the wall break, but jump over JH on the cross-up. Nice way to end the round there.
Yeah, not too bad, but you got to be careful of the move speed of Chip. He's so fast, and he'll just run up and do like 6K or something and just catch you. But Mix also buffed this patch.
We were talking a little bit about Faust knowledge checks. This is not exactly a knowledge check, but you do need the matchup knowledge playing against Chip to know what he can punish you with.
Yeah.
Because he's one of those characters that gets, against characters like Faust with long-range buttons, unique punish opportunities just off of the fact that he can run up and smack you so much more consistently than a lot of other characters.
Yeah, and especially because you have slow big buttons, he can just avoid it and catch you during the recovery options. But that is 2-0 now, I believe.
2-1, yep.
Oh, 2-1, okay, can't read. That game too was so fast, I just lost track of it.
Yeah, sometimes Chip just dies, and sometimes, in this case, Chip just kills. He does have very reliable ways to pump that damage out. His combo conversions are relatively stable.
I saw Marvello do this absolutely insane wall combo. Not the traditional one that you see where it's just hit into backwards elbow, but it was like a reset where you let him come off at the very top and then just picked it right back up at the bottom and ran with it. It was crazy.
That's something we've been seeing a lot more this season, is going for wall resets instead of wall breaks, which is, I think, one of those things a lot of people expected to happen over the life cycle of the game. Wall break does give you a lot of really good benefits, positive bonus, extra unscaled damage, really good. But it does reset to neutral, so if you want to keep the positioning, wall resets are a very strong way to do that, and it's something that I'm really enjoying develop as the game continues to age.
Yeah, especially if you don't have the overdrive available to get the bonus Oki, right? You can just save that, build up more tension, even just using it, as a more guaranteed kill, right? In the sense of like Happy Chaos, who I think really was the one that first started showcasing it.
Yeah, and then pretty much, I think it was actually Eno in Season 1 for the wall slump routes.
I never saw that much, so that's why I couldn't remember.
Yep.
But Trumpet getting picked up here, but...
Ooh, the Trumpet saves him from the 6P. It'd be a real bad time if the 6P combo hit. Ended up being a wall conversion, but no such business until right about now. ChippMcgill going for one of those wall routes we're talking about earlier. Nice and stable. Gamma Blade, pretty easy wall break there for a nice, cool, 45-50% damage?
Pretty solid damage, and right now we're seeing from Aerodat that they're a confident enough player that they don't really mind going back to neutral. They recognize that they can come up ahead because they're just winning neutral a lot of the time, and that's something that I've talked about from like some top level players, is like, if you can consistently win neutral, you don't mind going back to neutral.
Agreed.
Because like the better player should most of the time win neutral itself.
And that's another one of those really good matchup knowledge questions. In this case, we've been talking about all of the different ways Chip can get good punishes, good damage, avoid a lot of what Faust has to offer as threats. So going back to neutral in this matchup is not particularly dangerous.
Yeah. If this is like a sole bad guy or something like that, suddenly it gets riskier. But, or even like a Happy Chaos, too. Like, you'll let Happy Chaos slump all day. But Faust might be midst, but Chip is definitely higher up on the tier list and not the hierarchy of gameplay.
And thanks to that, the Chip will stay in the higher side of the bracket.
Yes.
AggroCraig not quite making it happen this time, but that's okay. Got the entire lower side of the bracket to make that run later.
And I mean, ChippMcgill, they have to play Mozz next, so they might not exactly be that excited about winning anyway.
Yeah.
Mozz, the resident Nagoriyuki player, the last time I saw them was the day after the patch, and they showed up on Saturday, and they were like, my pad was broken yesterday, I couldn't even play. Like, I literally didn't even touch the patch until I showed up today. And they still made second or third, I think, that week. The character was buffed. That's the crazy part. Is heading into Season 2, Nagoriyuki was buffed. I'm still in awe, honestly.
I see what they were going for. I think they wanted to keep him power neutral and just get a little bit of power budget reallocation into the patch. So I understand. I think it, specifically to me, the increased frame data, or the buffed frame data for 2S in Blood Level 2 is particularly egregious. Blood Level 2 is a really good place to park yourself as Nago in terms of blood meter.
And it's tough because what they did by changing the blood meter is like what, some people envisioned was that they would make Blood Zero worse than in current state, and then it would be better at high blood. So it's a trade-off. Instead, they made Zero the same as it has been, and then made Blood Level 2 better. So like it's just a straight up buff, and then by adding in like momentum to Beyblade and things like that, it's just a better character, giving him the round start combo that we saw on Twitter everywhere.
It's really hard for a character that can hit you for 75% damage from round start reliably.
That's the other thing, is like half the cast just gets exploded.
Yep. Well, in the meantime, we should point out that we have a Matcherino that you can contribute to if you would be so kind. Got that link in the chat right now. Go ahead and click that. Hit the claim code button to contribute to the pot for this tournament. Make it just a little bit more incentivized for people to keep entering these tournaments. If you can help out the scene with just a couple clicks.
Chat, it's just free money. We're going on 3 years of the pandemic, and I personally have said multiple times a week, it's just free money.
It is.
You do ! Matcherino, you click the link, and then you just sign in and claim the code, and you support tonight's players. And the sponsor quests are there as well. That all, again, free money. All you got to do is like a tweet, retweet a tweet, maybe follow them, subscribe to somebody's YouTube, follow somebody on Twitch. All incredibly easy things that are non-time consuming. Honestly, the best bang for buck Matcherino sponsor quest is those surveys, chat. If you ever see a survey in your sponsor quest, you are doing your TO a disservice to not click it. My last one was 3 questions long. Three true or false questions long. And it was like a $3 support to the pot or something ridiculous. So if you see those, chat, frame one, click that button. And then for those of you who are able and are willing, but under no obligation, there is also the direct contribution opportunity as well. Again, 100% of the Matcherino pot does going to support the players. So every little bit counts at the end of the day. And honestly, my favorite usage of Matcherino has been recently was the way East Coast Throwdown did it. Having multiple games in one Matcherino is not something we've ever seen before.
Right. And usually it's one per.
One per, too, but that can be very logistically a lot, right? Because if you're trying to tweet about it and things like that, having 5 links in one tweet is a lot. But they split their Matcherino across the top 5 registered, non-already supported games, which I thought was a really awesome way to go about that. And the fact that they were able to have that help from Matcherino was really nice. I do kind of wish Matcherino could share the love with some of us smaller tournaments.
That would be nice.
I would love to be able to just have one link to all of my Matcherinos. But we have friends at Matcherino, and I'm sure they're working on something. But heading into this next matchup, it is going to be SplatoonEnjoyer versus Lucky D. And Lucky D is going to be playing that Kai Kisuke. It's been the traditional pick for him for a while now.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it. These two got kind of a color scheme uniform going on.
Yep, Vapor Thrust into the bait. Not the hugest of punishes though. Definitely could have gotten a bit more, I feel.
That happens early on in the bracket sometimes. Got a little more warming up to do. See the Lucky D special there. He's a big fan of that tap dust overhead option.
I think you have to. That definitely could have gotten a bigger punish.
That could have been the round there if the dust was held. Unfortunately not happening, but may happen there. Yep, OTG6H closes out the round for SplatoonEnjoyer.
Honestly, I think people aren't super practiced in the full charge dust combos though, right? They happen so infrequently.
Yep.
But if there's no burst on your opponent and you get that, it is a free 40%. Like that is something you need to have at least some kind of knowledge about. Blocks the Vapor Thrust, but was on the wrong side, so no punish.
Corner pressure for Lucky D. Really, really easy set play off knockdowns with that heavy stun edge.
Yeah.
Really easy to continue your pressure. Good to go for pretty much wherever you'd like in that case. But 6B into the throw, coming out for SplatoonEnjoyer instead. Ooh, wrong position is reversed. That's going to be a wall slump. Oh, nope, maybe the overdrive. Not quite enough damage, but does get the hard knockdown. One more touch.
That should whiff, yeah. I was going to say. I wasn't quite sure how high that hitbox went, so I was curious, but gonna close it out in the end. That is game 1, going on over to SplatoonEnjoyer. Eno, another character that takes a lot of practice to play.
Yes.
Like, personally, I would love to play this character, but the floaty dash is really kind of off-putting to me.
It's very unique. Does definitely take some time to get your head around. And similarly, demands at least a modicum of matchup knowledge from your opponent as well. If you don't understand how their high-low works off of that command dash, it is very hard to know what you're supposed to do when you're in these mixed scenarios. That said, the mixed scenarios tend to sometimes just be a coin flip anyway. There are true 50-50s for so what you gonna do?
Oh my
Super
God.
is the option on Wake Up. No OP, no 50-50 here, just goes for raw, unscaled super damage. It hurts.
That was grimy.
It hurts, Doc.
No, I'm happy for that. I love watching Eno shine, but that was grimy. Did the wall slump, the double air dash option, completely mixed Lucky D. And Lucky D is a player that should be aware of command grabs. They've been playing fighting games for 40 years now. Poor guy. Again!
Oh, the Splatoon special coming out of the wall here. So much damage.
If that is the meta right now in this particular matchup, Dan might be cooked. Dan might be cooked. That is A, a lot of damage because it's a command grab overdrive. B, Kaikiski is not crazy healthy, and it's also one of those overdrives that doesn't hit you a billion times, so the scaling doesn't ramp up.
And also you get so little burst built up back from it, so even if you do survive at the wall, if for some reason Splatoon decides to go for that overdrive without the opportunity to go for wall slump routes instead, then you're not getting necessarily all your burst back to use it next time. Burst expended there instead.
I like it.
Lucky D had a little bit of that life lead there, but setup didn't quite come through for Splatoon.
Oh, 6P. It's actually one of the better options in the Eno matchup, right? She spends so much time airborne. And Kai's is a solid 6P.
Very.
It's not like some of these other characters out there, but JD finally being represented by Dan, and that is a great tool, honestly, from Kai. That flip that they're doing in the air, you can actually combo that into JD, so I would like to see that a bit more. But once that shock state is applied, it is a different ballpark.
Yeah, it makes it really, really hard to fight back if you don't know how that adjusts the frame data. Things are much more positive on block, much more advantageous for Kai. But like that, RC to cover it, just has to get expended. You're on a sliver of health, you have to do it. Well, okay, here's where it starts. Here's where the overheads come through. No! Knocks him out of
6P? This is actually a scary situation. 6P's again. Too early on the stroke the big tree though, but look at the hunt.
Not quite enough damage. Burst is expended. Is it a hero burst? Yet to see. 5P. A quick little check against the command dash is a very good tool if you're not willing to commit to the 6P. If you're going for just maybe a dash block out of the Eno, the 6P is a problem. So less committal 5P when you don't need that much damage. Really easy way to check your opponent and keep them honest. Close that around. That's 2-1.
Nice little recovery there from Dan. But it's still Eno. You still have to, worry about your mix. But like that situation, if you have a normal dash, you dodge that. Yeah. Because it takes so long to get even off the ground there without jumping first. That is an Eno problem. But when you're just mid-screen like this, that dash is like such an easier concept. You don't have to worry about like IAD. You're just tapping dash.
We got the wall slump going.
0-2. That
wasn't quite in range for the first hit of the overdrive, so didn't quite get the damage. This is the second time you see the round start up super. Doesn't land, not quite high enough. Stun Dipper does catch your toes. Watch your feet. Watch your feet once again. 2K, 2D going for the round close there.
Oh, Stun Dipper. Stun Dipper is in fact silly, but with the low profile because of the stroke the big tree, not as good as it once was, but right now we got SplatoonEnjoyer still making it look good.
Just needs one more round to move on the winner's side. PRC keeps things safe. Corner pressure for Lucky D now.
Sets up the stun edge. Gets that shock state. No longer though.
Has to spend that first.
Oh wow.
That's big damage. The 6H. Don't think so. Doesn't get no TG. Spacing wasn't quite right.
No burst, no IRC. This could hurt.
Goes for the
Tap dust into the red RC. This will definitely kill. Dan has this full combo.
Scale wall damage. Paper thrust closes it out. Just one hit. Doesn't build enough burst. Looks like everyone should have just enough to get one more burst off in this round. Stroke counter hit, forcing Lucky D back into the corner already. We have seen Splatoon show the ability to convert these into Wrestler grabs. Won't be this time though. Goes for the reset with the nose. Has to PRC the dust because they weren't quite in range.
Yeah, that was a really great usage of the faultless defense there from Dan to push them so far away. We get the gold burst into the red RC.
Doesn't quite convert the combo. That Stunripper didn't have the range. Yellow RC doesn't make a bit of difference. Screw from the air means it's going to be SplatoonEnjoyer going on to winners semifinals on the top half of the winners bracket. Lucky D heading down to that learners bracket.
Learners bracket. That was actually really interesting though, right? Because they still got pushed away by the YRC. Typically, you don't actually get a punish in that situation. I think Dan must have tried pushing a button or moving forward or something like that because, for all I know, they should have been safe.
I think that may also have been one of those unique interactions due to the command dash. If you have all of the momentum coming in with the dash and you're not blocking, then that momentum, I think, gets converted into a little bit of knockback, and then Lucky D thought he was safe to approach. Turns out maybe a little bit less so than you expected. Thank you all for bearing with us. We have been having some technical issues today. We are doing the best we can to make sure the audio sounds as clear as we can get it for you. Much appreciated on the feedback. Make sure we know what's going on, but we're going to do everything we can to make it as good as we possibly can.
Yep. It is live production, for lack of a better term, is a blow-up, chat. I don't know how many of you have been in similar situations, but having had the opportunity, I'll call it, to carry an entire setup in a backpack, set it up on site, and try and get a stream going, and then breaking down 4 hours later.
There's a lot of moving parts.
It's a lot of moving parts. Maybe a cable gets kinked while in transition, and all of a sudden you show up and your microphone doesn't work. It's not necessarily the case here today, but this is a shared setup. So if somebody else did something they weren't supposed to while we weren't here, there's not a whole lot we can do. But thank you for those of you who are with us here today. Thank you to those who are supporting the Matcherino as well. Exclamation point Matcherino in the chat. But then also, if you guys are not here today and you would like to come on to the next Boston Blue Beat Monthly, that is going to be coming up on October 16th. That is a Sunday, which we don't traditionally do it on Sundays, but that is the opportunity that we have next month. So hopefully you guys can make it out. We're going to be having Guilty Gear Xrd, Guilty Gear Strive, Blaze Blue Central Fiction, that's the word. I want to say Boston Blue Beat Central Fiction, but no, it's Blaze Blue Central Fiction, and Melty Blood Type Lumina, which I was just recently introduced to.
That game's popping right now. That game's good.
Yeah, that is what's the word I'm looking for? That is a showcase of a good patch.
Yes, I agree with that entirely. It had a lot of what players were looking for to be addressed, and had a lot of good decisions, good thought put into it.
Yeah, I mean, I got the opportunity to commentate last weekend at ECO Stardown. I was with Makoto Fox. Shout outs to them. They were a great help in the knowledge side of things. But no, that game's fun. I got to watch our boy Lennox beat up on a Neko Arc. Literally the first match of the day is Lennox versus a Neko Arc. That was so funny. But yeah, that game is super fun to watch now. I do want to start playing it. I think I might be a Red Arc player or a MASH player. MASH looks super cool too.
That's fine. I'm a dirty Vlav player. I have no shame.
That character looks boring as all hell.
Are you kidding me? He's okay. Vampire, first of all, that's sick.
I don't care.
Second of all, spellcaster, that's sick. Third of all, super strong, that's sick. What more do you need? You know what? Actually, what more you need? Online action. So if offline isn't in the cards for you in October, next week on the 22nd is going to be Blaze Blues or Boston Blue Beats next online event is going to be October 22nd, just running plus R, and of course we have the invitational for the Ranbat is popping off on October 15th.
Yep, great stuff from them. That is like you said, the Invitational. Because all the other events leading up to that are going to be online portions of that ranking battle. Total is going to be running every Monday from August 15th to October 3rd, so you only have a few more of those to claim points. Yeah, and every point matters, right? As you get closer and closer to that Invitational, the opportunity for points is going to be less and less. So right now we do have Burkish versus Doc. I believe that's docbach.
Yes, it is
the full name.
Indeed.
Because that is the resident Potemkin player. I don't know if anybody else that actually bothers with this character anymore, but this is a miserable matchup. This is probably one of those matchups that people say is like the Chip losing matchup because it's 1.5 pot busters and you die.
Guilty Gear matchups. It is the battle of the extremes. The fly that needs swatting and the biggest fly swatter you can find. Very, very volatile matchup. Very, very fun to watch. And to me, a lot of fun to commentate. 6P getting something going here for Burkish. Counter hit comes through. Has a grip-o-meter. Spends it on the overhead. Gold burst comes through.
Oh, that's
little
scary.
More meter.
Oh, didn't actually get anything off of the fast RC on the 6K. But that's a lot of damage plus the wall. I think you're alive, yeah.
Yep, just a sliver of health left. Hard knockdown does give Burkish another opportunity. Cross up overhead on the jump 2K. Closes out that round.
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of anti-air opportunities, Potemkin has one of the higher ones if you think about it, right? He's got grab, 6P, pot buster, you know, holy pot buster, just lots of things that he can really do.
Damage.
That's
what you were saying.
Yeah, that's the game. But the problem is they're also slow if you think about it, right? So like even though Chip spends most of the round in the sky, it's just like he has that double jump, he's got the dashes, everything is tough. But honestly, this version of Chip is actually pretty solid on the ground. I don't think he has to spend as much time in the air as he used to.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely earlier on in the game, he was known as that character buzzing around in the air alongside Milia.
Which is the only one now.
Yeah, absolutely. One who spends most time in the air. And here, we're actually seeing docbach spend a good amount of time in the air trying to go for some air-to-air conversions. Instead, 6P into the heat knuckle. Looking for the setup. Pot buster, is that quite enough? It is after the RC, I believe.
With the wall, you're dead.
Safe.
Yeah.
Ooh, Burkish did get just enough meter back to use that burst, but docbach not letting that happen.
I wouldn't.
Snatch him out of the air. Whew.
Yeah, given the opportunity, I would not let burst happen either. But we're actually getting the gold burst already out of docbach, but look at the damage you get off of it.
Okay, not doing it again. That's
It's a little respectful. I like it.
YRC, a very, very good tool in this matchup, because Potemkin's offense, when it does get running, can be extremely painful. It can be very overwhelming if you're not set up well to fight against it. And Chip, outside of the reversal, kind of has to just hold that 50-50 between Garuda and Potbuster on Wake Up. So it can be very, very difficult. So anytime you can have an opportunity to get yourself in that opportunity as the Potemkin player, really good choice. So YRC, very important tool in this matchup.
Yeah, and I do like that Burkish went for the wall break. I think that's the right call. There's so much opportunity on the wall slump for Potemkin that you don't really want to just let him rip.
Yes. Yeah, you have very, very advantaged neutral here as the Chip. So going back for the reset makes a whole lot of sense. Command throw makes it happen. One apiece. Burkish looking to get on the board.
Yeah, and the poeticness to take out Potemkin with a command grab is just perfect, honestly. But
it's just art in motion.
The clone has been such a great tool for Chips lately. It's such a good pressure opportunity to just make you block as they run up behind them. And it's not like a lot of the other projectiles in the game where you have to PRC behind it. You can just follow it.
Corner pressure here.
Oh.
Up against the wall. We saw a little bit of something there for docbach, but not converting. Counter hit on the JH. Not quite enough, but here we go again. Back to neutral. See what the option is.
Goes for the overhead, fast RC, and the 6K. It's so good.
It's a classic for a reason.
That said, if that had been blocked,
it could have been an issue.
It could have been a bit of a problem because there was no more tension for an RC, there was no burst available, and it's not great on block. But it's also Potemkin, so like, what is truly the answer afterwards?
Well, the answer here so far seems to be
look at that damage.
Quick prayer hands into a quick heat knuckle into an easy cool 45%.
Which is great for docbach, but if they're just going to keep giving up space like this and letting Burkish just do whatever they want, it's largely not going to matter. Here we go through the wall. It's still wild how high that scoops you from, because it's like...
I think it's going to drop every time.
Every time. Double PRCs.
No. Meter health and burst advantage here for Burkish. Going for the cross-up, goes into the low after the J2K. Really hard to adjust your block there. You got a cross-up overhead into a cross-up low.
Yeah.
Really, really hard to keep up with Chip in that sort of situation.
Yeah, and you're seeing Burkish opt every round into round start K, jump K, and then they go for the cross-up right afterwards. And like it's too fast for a heat knuckle, really.
Yeah,
because the spacing isn't perfect. It's just really tough anti-air opportunity for docbach, unless they also go to the air. But by that point, you might be too late.
And I want to point out how true something you just mentioned was. docbach has been very willing to give up a lot of space after every neutral reset. And don't get me wrong, a lot of that is just the fact that Burkish is pressing advantages given the positive bonus meter gain. So it is easier for Chip to create a snowball than it is for Potemkin to fight against the snowball.
Yeah.
But you have to fight back at some point. And here we go. We see docbach fighting back right now.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you are just mashing, 2P or 6P or whatever it is, anything to try and disincentivize the type of aggression. You see that a lot when Kenny is here, too.
Yes.
They're playing Gold Lewis, not a character known for fast buttons or great defensive options, but they mash 2P all day long.
As hard as possible.
That's their favorite button in the entire character's repertoire. And it works.
Every time.
Everybody respects it because they know on wake up he's going to push 2P. He's going to recover before you can actually punish, unless you just get a perfect meaty.
Ooh, BRC at round start into the air throw. Closes it out in the corner. A little bit of ninja trickery. One more round for Burkish to move on.
This is for a top 8 position. Winner here is going to have to go up against Mozz. That was a tricky gold burst opportunity for docbach, but look at this. Look at that damage. Garuda
has the meter.
Garuda.
Do it again.
Garuda. Oh, no. They go for the kill. Bloodthirsty.
The throw, half of the strike throw, has been acknowledged. Has closed out a round here for docbach.
I want to see
just in time.
I want to see that electric field mix that you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, me too, man.
I'm sure docbach might not have that ready just yet, but
it is quite new. I believe it's like this week that it's been developed.
I was gonna say it's also like it sounds like one of those things you, as a Potemkin player, you really have to be able to activate. But
J2K in the corner off the back of a perfect Burkish, going to be moving on into our top 8, going up against Mozz for his next round. Really quickly, taking a quick look at the rest of the bracket. We do have Kazam has gone 3-0 twice in a row to go up against SplatoonEnjoyer. That was the Eno player that we saw earlier on in the day. We have Burkish going up against Mozz, as we just said. On the bottom half of our bracket, the only one we see so far is Sebastian has taken out Aerodat to get onto top 8 on the loser side. We also have Lucky D going up against Eze soon for that other slot to go up against Sebastian. And rounding out the top 8 on the bottom side, ChippMcgill and Mr. L will be going at it. And then we wait on one more round. Actually, no, I believe, that'll mean Doc will be going up against Pilot.
Yep.
As our last loser side match to get into our top 8.
Yep. So Kazam, SplatoonEnjoyer, like you were just saying, is going to be our next matchup here on stream. Kazam, we gave a lot of praise earlier in the day when we first opened up the show. Has had great results at the majors this second half of this year. Really good practice that they're getting from the online world, and that was honestly one of the things when I first came to the FGC that was really missing, honestly, was that online practice opportunity in between majors. Everyone's like, oh, just go to your local, your monthly, your regional, what have you. And it's like, cool, but like,
that's what every other day of the week.
That's 2 days a week. Now, I mean, granted, at the time, netcode was like, it didn't exist.
It's not in a good place.
And I'm only here from 2016, so it's not an old problem. It's not like I came from the 90s like some of the people here today. But yeah, now we're being blessed with games having solid rollback opportunities and things like that. Guilty Gear Strive being probably one of the best.
Yeah, flagship netcode of all of the current generation games for sure.
Consistently having literal transatlantic show matches.
Yeah, successfully.
Successfully, yeah. There's actually one going on today for DNF, too. It started right as I was leaving my house to come here. It's NA versus EU in DNF duel. So I'll hopefully be able to get that tonight watching it. But I missed who they picked. You're waving your finger, so I missed something.
We got a Bridget mirror. This is going to be
I think Bridget's really good right now.
I think Bridget is very, very hard to fight against if you don't know how to fight against them.
True.
The fact that both players are picking them means I have an inclination they might know a little bit about the character.
You would hope so. That's not always a guarantee. Sometimes the first match between players, you just want to meme out a little bit and you get to play that mirror. But no, I've been saying that this is actually a better version of Axel, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Very similar, game plan from far away. But once they get close, this mixed game is wild.
And here we go. We see it right there, set up with the yo-yo. Corner pressure coming out for SplatoonEnjoyer. PRC into, nope, no overhead. And Kazam fighting out successfully.
Oh, but that
Blocks
is...
the DP!
Yeah. Oh, just barely drops that air combo, but picks it right back up on the ground. And that's one of the tools that I say makes them better than Axel, is they have a non-metered DP.
And you can cancel out of it, too. Only DP in the game that you can RC out of.
Yeah, which is, good. That's how it should have been.
It's a very, very strong tool.
Oh, gets the hit. Goes for the handbrake a little bit early there to start mixing up the game. Also, their command grab is wild.
It's such a good
I'm sure
tool.
we'll see it, but it's going to take some getting used to playing against.
This is a really interesting match to me, too, because both of these players play mix-up characters that aren't Bridget. Kazam, known as a Milia player, and Splatoon, we just saw as an Eno player, right?
Yep.
So both of these players, very, very competent in how to navigate vortexes. And this is just a vortex character that can also zone.
Yeah, I mean, Kazam has been playing this pick since they came out.
Yep.
And has been having pretty good results with them. Whereas SplatoonEnjoyer, we saw them today, Xeno. I don't know how much practice they actually have on Bridget, but right now their Bridget play is looking pretty good.
Yeah, very competent all around here. The tick throw brings us to round apiece. Splatoon just, I think, barely outside of burst range this round. Maybe I'll just see how quickly that builds. I'm not actually sure how many multi-hits Bridget has in order to make that build quicker.
Not a lot, I would say.
JS is a 2-hit. I think that's about it.
I think she has one grounded 2-hitter as well.
Yep.
But the command grab, honestly, is a huge, huge tool from this character. We get the back throw that time, sets up the yo-yo, gets out the gold burst.
I love the gold burst representation there. If you're going to have to go for mix-ups, then you're going to have to prove that you can fight through my defensive options. I got DP as one. I'm going to represent gold burst as another.
But yeah, nice little DP to bust out. That should be punishable. Gets the command grab.
Backdash out of the vortex.
Oh,
gold
wow.
burst in response. Yellow
I respect
RC.
it. Oh, but 2D into the combo with the close slash, into
Confirm.
the Roger overdrive. That is enough to do it.
Very, very fun match to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun because so Bridget doesn't have the highest of damage, right? What Bridget does have is the ability to create opportunities for yourself. Yeah. And watching these players fight in neutral so frequently to try and create those opportunities, you get to watch them do that over and over and over because the damage isn't quite as high.
Yeah, and a lot of her options are fairly safe.
Yep.
She's not one of those characters that, you run your mix and then you just go back to neutral. Which, there aren't many of those either when you think of, Chip and Milia, but, the fact that you can start your pressure from so far away as Bridget is really telling. And the command grab is just silly.
Good tool.
It's great on the ground just in itself. Like we saw there, it went airborne, dodged the attack, and then actually connected. But the fact that while you're airborne, it is an airborne command grab, and so you catch airborne targets. But if your opponent's on the ground, as long as you hold that button, you do not activate it. You just ride the bear down. And if you actually touch the ground before fully activating it, it now counts as a grounded command grab.
DP escapes pressure for Kazam. means they can close that round out back to 1 apiece. Very, very even so far. This is 2 games in a row where we got a match each. Kazam looking to get something started here, but does get challenged on the setup. Burst is expended for Kazam.
Oh.
Pushing Splatoon back into the corner, but Burst goes back. Break pushes Kazam a little bit further.
Nice little counter sequence, but not able to meaty hard enough.
A lot of backdashes here. A really, really strongly represented option here. It is a good way to escape the setup when your opponent has been set out the yo-yo from a good distance, which means you have a little bit more time to react. And I don't know if Bridget has a good way to close that extra distance without meter.
Yeah. I mean, the option that I've seen a lot of players adjust into is 6P.
Yep.
Even if they don't backdash it like you're talking about, they could just 6P. That was a trade, I believe, on, I would imagine, a 2S, honestly.
I believe you're correct.
But Bear Drop at every point before that had lost just straight up. So the trade, very nice timing there from SplatoonEnjoyer, who currently 2-0. Actually, my colors are mixed up. It's actually backwards. Yeah. This whole time I'm like, wow, SplatoonEnjoyer is cracked. Like, they're doing so good. But nope, I got mixed by myself, actually, I guess.
You know, Bridget is a mixed character. These things happen fast.
Because they're using Kazam's color. That's what it is.
Ooh, you're right.
Like, they yoinked the color at character select, so that's not fair to me. Honestly, after this SplatoonEnjoyer, if you lose this 3-0, you can never use this color again when playing Kazam. Yeah,
we're playing by Highlander color rules.
Yeah, you're playing as it's a color match right now. Talk about throwback. That's. Honestly, we should bring those back. Do you even know what I'm talking about?
Not a clue.
So Roger closing out the run there, but no, a color match was back in the day in Melee.
Oh yes.
Certain players had certain Fox colors, and it was a grudge match, and you
had
played
to fight for the right to use that color.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a very famous one between Leffen and the Liquid player at the time, whose name is escaping me. Chudat, maybe?
Maybe.
I don't remember. But right now, we're seeing a good-ish round start coming in from SplatoonEnjoyer. Baits out the DP. This is going to hurt, and they got tension on the back end.
Confirm into
the super.
Late?
Oh, no worries.
Nope. That should get just about there. Yes, indeed. Gets that hard knockdown, looking for a DP. Nope, just a nice walk up.
I like the respect.
Yeah.
But it's now kind of turning against you. Close slash counter hit. Red RC no longer scales combos at all.
That's a reset we were talking about earlier. Could have gone for a wall breaker out there. Instead decides to go for the reset. You have a vortex with your setup. Go for that instead. Makes a whole lot of sense. Challenge from the into the air, though, does mean SplatoonEnjoyer gets one more chance. Closes it out off of the back of that challenge. Again, 3rd game in a row. We're at 1 match apiece. SplatoonEnjoyer hasn't been closing out any of these sets, but has been putting up a very good fight. It's been very even despite what the scoreline says.
Yeah. This is one of those matches where you go to the TO afterwards and you go, it was 3-0, but it was close.
Yeah, it was
nobody believes you.
3-0.
Yeah, nobody believes you, but you get to say it at least. But this is, again, set point coming through here for Kazam. BRC baits the throw, and that is going to be enough.
That was such an interesting set of executional choices from Kazam. So first of all, we saw out over the corner, SplatoonEnjoyer was trying to throw the yo-yo, right?
Yep.
That does have a pretty long animation to it. Kazam says, I can use this time, throw out Roger on the bike, use that to get some plus frames for myself to approach. Sweet, I'm in. What do I do now? BRC means your frames are all doubled. The way BRC works is anything your opponent tries to do takes twice as long. And so use that to get yourself the advantage situation after you've approached. Your approach is just quick enough to get you, give or take, even with your opponent. No real plus frames to work with. Using the BRC forces yourself into an advantageous position. World is your oyster. Get that Bridget mix. Close the round out. I really like that sequence.
That Roger overdrive is a lot of frames, too. It's +8 on block.
That's how you can get up and use those frames, run up into their grill.
That is her only. That is her only plus on block option.
Yep.
Everything else is so negative. Oh no, I lied. Close slash is +1, so it might as well not matter. But good. Holy hell, that is insane.
You know what else is insane?
5H is -17.
Is it really?
According to this, yeah.
Dear Lord. Well, okay, that does mean we have our first winner's finalist in the form of Kazam.
Actually.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you know what? I don't, because, so Bridget is one of the characters that has a very unique heavy slash
Correct.
situation because there's actually 2 hits to it, but you don't have to commit the second hit.
Yeah, it can gattle into itself.
But it doesn't have to.
Correct.
So I don't know if these numbers are from the second hit or not because the FAT app does not differentiate. So
someone in chat hop into lab for us. Let us know how that looks. In the meantime, we're going to continue on in our top 8, which, by the way, the bottom half has been established.
Oh, I lied. It does. It's just not. It's a different part of the screen.
You know what? These things happen. You got the small screen. It's little numbers.
Well, I figured they would do it like how they do Dust, right? Where at Dust they have the charge and uncharge in the same block.
Yep.
But no, they have 5S or far slash and 5H up here. And then you got to scroll down, and there's S follow-up and H follow-up. So it is there. It's just not where I expected it to be. And they actually they call it Heelys. the rollerblades, they call it Heelys.
I love that. Oh, that makes me so happy.
That's actually mad funny. But, yeah, so we are heading into our next matchup here. Like we just said, it is going to be Lucky D versus Sebastian. This is loser's side, so this is the end of somebody's tournament run.
Yep, this is the first of our loser side top 8 matches. Lucky D, we saw him earlier today. Kai loves Tap Dust, loves Dalsum, loves bringing controllers to other events.
He does not. It's crazy. He doesn't play Dalsum-like characters in anything else he plays. It's literally just Dalsum.
Yeah.
But right now, he's doing the Dalsum special of blocking.
You know, it's a powerful tool sometimes. This is an interesting thing we just saw right there out of Sebastian. The RC upwards is something we've been seeing out of Nagoriyuki a lot in the last few weeks. It means you have the opportunity to go for the overhead or a low or the command grab. So you got a 3-way mix off of that little tech there.
Yeah, not something you get naturally,
nope.
But it does cost you a lot of tension. So if it doesn't work, it sometimes doesn't actually matter because with the exception of the command grab, you're in a position that you can continue your pressure. Speaking of continuing pressure, this is going to work in Sebastian's favor, and that should be enough to kill with the wall right there.
Anything you can do, I can do better. It doesn't have the wall.
The Ride the Lightning actually took them just far enough away, but look at that risk gauge, climbing, and ends it with the Vampire Bite.
Look, sometimes Nago gets you in the corner with basically no blood and you have no life, gets to just send it with full command specials. And we're seeing it once again. This is a pop setup. Fukio forward means all of that blood goes away immediately for a cool 80% damage with no risk.
Oh, gets punished on the mask pull down. But that round start was exactly what we mentioned earlier in that Nagoriyuki gets an 80% combo because of this patch. And that Beyblade should be enough to close it out. But yeah, I mean, round start, they gave him the second portion of that. And Lucky D wasn't ready for it. Has not, played against enough online Nagoriyukis yet, I guess.
Evidently. Nago's round start, if it pops off the way it sometimes can, is such a hard situation to recover from because if you know how to do the blood pop setups, it's basically no risk. You just give an 80% damage for what should usually be a negative situation for you that you turn into a non-issue.
Gold Burst coming through as well, but we got some Fukios coming through. This blood is looking incredibly high, and it's continuing to climb. Good burst there from Lucky D. They got to be careful now on the side of Sebastian.
And Sebastian getting Lucky D from coast-to-coast wall pressure just off of the back of stagger pressure.
No plus frames on that. But Stun Ditter into the red RC is going to hurt. And now we got corner control, the heavy stun edge.
Ooh, good backdash comes out from Sebastian. The approach on the tick throw from Lucky D not landing does get another round on the board for Sebastian. Dominating performance so far.
Yep. Checks the jump forward from Lucky D. It's been a great option for him. Round start for a while now. But there it is. Great challenge out of the corner. Keeps the pressure forward. Look at the blood gauge, too.
It's teetering just there at the edge. Super jumping in is stuffed out. Lucky D running disadvantage.
Tap dust. Not enough to kill, but we are going to get some positive bonus on the other side of this wall. And that blood gauge is still through the moon from the side of Sebastian, so they largely can't do a whole lot to get themselves to a better position.
One Fukio.
Is that enough? Doesn't matter. I was watching that bar. It was ticking up. I didn't know if it was going to be enough to pop. But,
yeah, but going for that 6K as the meaty, Lucky D says, I know what to do here. Vapor thrust into a win, but now into the corner is Lucky D in the next round. 6H into 6H. Fukio look for the command throw. His blood's getting a little high. Nope. Okay, falling back down.
Just went for the 5 / there. Does get punished out of the corner. Lucky D taking advantage of that shock state. Again.
Plus frames. Goes low, goes high, goes into the RC. Not quite enough damage, though. Resetting back to neutral.
Which is always scary against Nagoriyuki, who does have 100 tension now. That
Fukio
blood.
Back to reset. Burst on the RC up. Get out of the corner.
Oh, wow. That was actually really lucky there for Sebastian. They got the course correction in the sky. Just blocks coming through for Dan.
Goes for a mid off of the RC up. Not sure about that choice. It's not really much of a threatening representation to be able to block no matter what, but the blood pop, the keep out 2S into the far S. Sebastian able to take yet another game in this match. 2-0. Lucky D needs to make something happen here.
That's a tough round to lose, honestly. Like everything for a little while there was going Dan's way. Even the blood pop was looking pretty good for them. But, like you said, the check. They know Dan's approach. He loves doing the stun dipper. And the burst bait there with the Fukio. It's not the best round start, but it is a worthwhile one to be sure.
I completely understand bursting that too. I had that 80% PTSD from before earlier too.
Yep.
So. Ooh, the charge dust. We're going up. Nago does so much damage.
Oh, he actually has
There's
it too.
no burst available.
For a second, I thought we were going to drop that combo, but they were ready for it. Chases it down with the throw, and that's why you practice that combo every now and then. When it works, it's great, and sometimes you get it.
One more, and Sebastian continues on. Ooh, not quite in range for the throw, but no punish comes out. Keeps the corner pressure for Sebastian. Fukio forward. There's a command grab. Control that blood.
Nice vapor thrust. Yeah, it gets him out of the corner. Misspaced there on the stun edge punish. But now we got the tap dust. This is going to hurt. Waited for the burst. Definitely was waiting for that opportunity, but I think if you're Sebastian right now, you just don't use it this round. And as I say that,
cast occurs.
Yeah. But
has the meter. Close slash into the overdrive. That is more than enough damage. Sebastian takes it in a convincing 3-0. Lucky D, top 8, but only just.
Yeah, and I mean, that's one of the situations where it's like, had they not won that round, they wouldn't have had burst for round 3, which is why, that's why it's called the hero burst.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you burst, sometimes it works out, and in that case, it did spectacularly. They won the game, they won the set, they continue on in tonight's bracket, but had that gone poorly, we may have been going to a game 4.
Yeah, that's really a bet it all on red sort of situation.
Yeah, but sometimes you can do that. So we see that happen. It looks like from our side, our next matchup is going to be Mozz versus Burkish. Yet another Nagoriyuki. This time it's Mozz, probably the best in the region at the least.
Yep.
Nagoriyuki player, I'll say.
Yes.
Because they do lose to Kazam. But actually, I think last time they lost to Kenny, now that I think about it.
I think that's correct.
Which has, Mozz has been Kenny's demon since the game came out, and Kenny's been really practicing. But Kenny plays Golden Lewis, not a traditional character, although we have the great representation of Crocs and Socks last weekend.
Also, it's Guilty Gear. Who is, right?
Yeah. But, no, I mean, Mozz, definitely one of the stronger players in the region. Going up against Burkish, a legacy player in the region. Obviously very great results in Street Fighter V. For months on end, it was either them or Zaffarino that would win the weeklies and the monthlies. Zaffarino now retired and only plays Valorant, to my knowledge. Burkish, it's nice to see them coming out to events again. They had pretty good placing at East Coast Throwdown last weekend as well. And even though I don't believe they're playing as much Street Fighter V these days, they have been playing Guilty Gear, which is good for me because it means I get to talk about them more because this game's awesome. But
flex that region knowledge.
Yes, and it is going to be Nagoriyuki versus Chip, which is another one of those quintessential swat the fly matches.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier with the Chip versus Potemkin. This ends up playing out relatively similar, with the one exception that Nagoriyuki has significantly better mobility than Potemkin does, which means Nago has a bit of an easier time trying to swat that fly, and his sword is a big fly swatter when he gets a little bit of blood working.
Yeah, I mean, the changes to the 2S are actually meaningful in this matchup, though.
Very.
Because it means that Chip is now offered the opportunity to dash low block and actually simply dodge out on the 2S attempt. Whereas before, you would block it and have to, deal with the pushback. Now, you do have that opportunity, but it does mean that if you're in the sky, it's now much worse for you.
Speaking of worse for you, getting that much damage, 50%, make it 60, make it 70, off of just 2 interactions.
I like the back throw, though. Now we get to run the Chip gameplay. 6K into the red RC. That's what you're going to see a lot of when you watch this character. But 2K, 2D into Rekka is going to keep the corner pressure going.
Lots of overheads coming out. Doing the Chip things. Good
That's
escape
tough.
out of the corner from Mozz. One more hit will do a command throw. And I think that's going to be a very representative match, or a very representative game for this match.
That was kind of tough for Burkish because they went for the traditional option there of going into the Alpha Blade, going into the sky. But it's Nagoriyuki. Fukyo is just so fast that, it's different from a lot of characters. And their punish options are much more damaging than other characters.
Didn't go for the full send. Mozz playing a little conservatively so far, willing to slow it down, willing to block. Doesn't get the overhead, though. Ooh, some wonky physics. Does put him back into the corner. Burkish trying to run this offense.
Yep, gets the Gamma Blade. And I think in this situation, playing on the ground is actually a little bit better for Chip than going to the sky. When they had control, I know as I'm saying that, they're getting mashed on.
It's a really fast match. Both of these players, both of these characters, able to get a lot of things going on the turn of a dime.
Yeah, and I mean, Chip right now is just so strong on the ground when you have that tension behind you. We've already seen the 6K red RC option coming out of Burkish, but if you're on the back foot against Nagoriyuki, there's just really no coming back from it. Look at this damage. He's going to whiff punish it, just shimmies him, has the timing at the end, into the overdrive. That's a perfect. Heading into set points.
It's pretty strong when you can do that as reliably as Nagoriyuki can.
Oh.
Doing it once again, burst out of the corner for Burkish. Gets some pressure going. Carry back to the corner for himself. Ooh.
I like it because the positive bonus has been a huge reason that Burkish has been able to succeed in this matchup particularly. They need the tension to run this offense. Otherwise, they're just giving space to Mozz like that. But we get the red RC, which forces the burst. That was scary. We've seen that exact interaction go the other way already. 2K2D into Beyblade.
I like Burkish looking for these reset opportunities. Instead of going for full block strings into specials, he's been ending them a little bit early. And that gets him some good risk build, some good stagger pressure. He can go for shimmies himself. In this case, keeps the corner pressure very, very safely, converts that into a round win.
Yeah, and it's just risky in this matchup because Nago's buttons are so long.
Absolutely.
Like in 90% of the other matchups in this game, it's just Chip show. But because his buttons are so long, that's where the problem is coming in. And so you can see what Burkish is doing in adjusting to the range of these buttons. They're having to be either a bit closer or a bit further away. And it depends on whether they're willing to block FD. But they're trying to get out of the corner. That's another one of those situations where they were just far enough away from the buttons. They wait for the recovery of Nago and then go in. This is another burst bait combo. And they get it. They lose the wall control, though, which is tough for them.
Not quite enough damage either. Nago
but we're challenging?
The meter. Really tense. Both playing a spacing game.
6P
into an RC.
Burst.
There should be no bursts available again.
That was a great, smart play there coming from Burkish. They get the air jump button. Keeps the combo going. They're going to take a game.
What a sequence there. That got a little scrambly toward the end.
Yeah, lots of spaghetti.
Yeah, meter filling up just at the right and or wrong time, depending on position.
But again, just round start going the way of Mozz. Going to get the corner swapped on him, though. Gold burst is huge in this situation.
Yeeting himself through with the Beyblade RC.
Gets the knockdown. Goes for the cross-up. Is successful this time.
And Burkish putting on some good pressure here. Has been going for Rekka 2 RC very, very frequently. It's been Rekka 2 RC and 6K RC as the two predominant entry points into those cancels. I say as he goes for Rekka 3 RC, overhead confirm into wall break. Really good rotation of options there for Burkish.
Yeah, that Chip is really probably one of the characters that offers the most.
Oh no. Okay, Burst has to come through.
offers the most character options, right? Like the player expression is the phrase we like to use a lot. Isn't as flowcharty as some of these other characters. If this combo can last long enough, it doesn't. But do they get the pickup? Oh, that was a crazy air throw from Mozz.
Ooh, the instant overhead out of Mozz with the BRC. That is so tricky, impossible to react to. BRC coming back out for Burkish as well, though. Burst is available. Gold burst right there.
Oh, but we DP in the Beyblade. Gets the back throw, but it's not enough. This Guts is super duper high. Was waiting for the button. That hits the clone.
That'll hit the clone. It'll hit both. Mozz. Good call out, as we hear a couple call outs in the crowd here as well.
Nice little backdash check there. Keeps going. Baits the DP. No tension. No burst.
You're so dead. Oh, had a little bit of wall damage already stacked up. Not enough for a full conversion, but the BRC into an air throw. Good call out. The BRC gives you enough time during the slowdown to scope out your opponent's choice. React accordingly. Easy reaction with the air throw.
Yep.
2-1. Mozz looking to make it into winners finals with Kazam. Burkish looking to shut that down.
Oh, that was a really smart move there coming from Mozz. Just doing the 2P check. Let Burkish make up his own scenario in his head and gets the burst out of him. Gets the OTG. 2K2D. 5K is going to get DP'd out of. Goes for the cross up. Forward throw.
There is
burst.
Some wall damage.
Yeah, as I say, Burst and YRC are both available for Mozz, and the YRC is actually a great option there. It doesn't send Burkish completely full screen, just close enough that a Fukyo forward throw will work out.
Especially also when you have the blood meter built up a little bit also, you can use that YRC range as an opportunity to get your spacing game going.
Yep.
But Burkish was doing pretty well here until missing the throw gives Mozz the opportunity to start offense in the corner. 5P to check the offensive approach in the air. The back throw, get in the corner situation for Burkish once again, really representing the throw here.
Yeah, it's been one of the more successful options for them. They actually bait out the throw attempt there from Mozz. We're going to go into the overdrive, bring out the homies, take some positive bonus, and some Oki on the other side of the screen. This time it actually is set point for Mozz. I misspoke earlier. But look at this pressure. Red RC clone is definitely an interesting option to operate with here. But it works out twice, but that could be problematic.
One more touch after this for Nagoriyuki. Can get him into the next round, but no, good 6P challenge.
Yeah, really wanted that burst out of that situation.
You're so dead. Fukyo forward after the DP. The 2H closes the round out. Really good challenges coming out for Mozz. Those 2Ps and those DPs were not underrepresented, but they were carefully placed.
Yeah.
Right? You'd have very few windows of opportunity against a chip to get Abare options to actually land. And when you do, Nago can convert so well. So really well, really conservatively, but appropriately used challenges coming out of Mozz throughout the entirety of the set.
I mean, they even went for some of the riskier, unsafe options too. We saw obviously the overdrive in the P1 corner that worked out, but I mean, they saw the clone and were like, wait a minute, I don't have to respect this. Yeah. Why you're going to do this raw in my face? And you saw the adaptation to that from Burkish was to just red RC it every time, which that's not something I've ever seen. Most chips I see save the RC for the fast option out of 6K or even Alpha Blade, just trying to get true mix going, whereas the Gamma Blade clone is just plus frames. Yeah. So it's an interesting option. I suppose if it had hit, it would be a different story. But on block, it just feels like you're going for one version of plus frames into another one. Right. And then once you saw two options out of that, that was when Mozz is like, all right, you don't have meter, you can't go for your unsafe options. I'm just going to Abare. Gets the hit, gets the second half of the DP, and as we saw, chased it down with the command grab.
Yeah. And with that, we have now chased down our winners finals. That'll be Kazam and Mozz coming up in just a little bit. Before we get there, we got docbach and we got ChippMcgill going out for getting out of top 8 on loser's side.
Yeah, so it's going to be the Potemkin matchup once again into Chip, something that we have seen before. Today it's something that we may see again if docbach can stay alive in the tournament long enough. Has to win this matchup and then beat SplatoonEnjoyer, and Burkish would have to beat Sebastian, but we could get the run back there.
Never know.
We're a little bit further away from that one, but for now, it is going to be docbach versus ChippMcgill. And this should be a good one because ChippMcgill, last time we saw them, they were up against Mozz, so they already have played the big body matchup today, whereas docbach has played this matchup before. And then I'm not sure who Pilot plays, but that is who docbach ran into just before this.
Yep. So both these players warmed up in, if not then a comparable matchup. Now to see how we can adjust a little bit this time.
Hopefully.
docbach side.
But, I mean, like I said, Chip is probably one of those characters in the game right now that offers the most player expression, whereas, I feel like Potemkin is very flowcharty. Like, there's not a lot of expression out of that character, and I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't see a whole lot of them. But there's just so many things Chip can do to make you have to, rethink your life choices. Whereas Potemkin, you're just trying to dodge the buster.
Ooh, I like that cheeky little confirm. Potemkin went for a grab, didn't land, got a quick punish, and then went straight to confirm it into the overdrive. Get that positive bonus. I like that choice. One of the best ways Chip can convert into these wins is with snowball through positive bonus. We're doing it again. Nope, no need to do it again. Let's just get the kill.
Yeah, it's been a great confirm. Some of the Chip players I've seen lately have done the other option, overdrive, to punish projectiles lately.
Yep.
Which has always been a great tool for it, but it's always so hype when it happens.
Yeah.
Like this one, it's like yeah. They get the combo, they have the tension, they bring out the homies, they take their positive bonus and move on. That one, you're like, oh my god, he hit the projectile. But look at this, it's another corner sequence heading into docbach's face. But back throw could be the opportunity they need.
That is a lot of damage forcing out the burst. I agree with that choice. Ooh, red and air escape. Didn't quite land it, though. Command grab coming out from Chip. That's going to be just enough damage. docbach going down 0-1 already.
But let us see what more we can get done out of docbach. That was just game one. There's still plenty of time for this comeback to happen. They actually got the hit, but didn't really believe in it that time. Oh, they tried to scoop the air approach, but we actually got a air backdash out of ChippMcgill.
Yeah, Doc's going for a lot of hard call-outs this match. I feel like it's a little early in the set for that kind of play. However, given the relative character strength, I can understand the need for it. And look at all that damage.
It is a lot. It's something you really have to be aware of, but overhead comes through into the red RC. Into the corner we go. Couple 5Ks just to check the options.
Plus frames, overhead. Good call there. The back throw to go for the interrupt in the middle of the chip pressure.
Yeah, that is 6K, not safe, even on hit.
That is true.
6K on hit is actually +1. So with throw being only a 2-frame startup, there's not much you can do to beat that out. But, I mean, throw really is one of the best defensive options in the game.
It is. That's true. I really
Just don't whiff. That's all.
Yeah, that's a problem if you do. I really like Chip going for the confirms into super so frequently in this matchup.
Yeah.
It's really, really a good way to get confirmed unscaled damage like this. He's going for just a quick 2K, 2D into the super. Potemkin has lots of guts, so it doesn't look quite as impressive right now, but it's a very easy way to get that positive bonus off of just a quick little confirm. I like the strategy.
So that sequence that they just did, the double Alpha Blade, it works on lighter characters. But Potemkin being one of the heavier in the game, there's only 3 weight options in this game compared to 4 in the previous title.
Yep.
But being the heaviest means that doesn't work.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even still, we just got 2K, 2D approaches, command grabs mid-screen. docbach just having a really tough time with the chip options.
Yeah, we're seeing very good rotation of these options coming out from Chip yet again. A lot of throw representation to keep the strike safe really hard to make good defensive decisions when you see your opponent is willing to use the entirety of the toolkit. Ooh, the clash between the Garuda and the DP is pretty funny. PRC to the Potbuster, get down to 30% maybe? We have the meter for it again.
That's a great start out there for docbach. Lands the booty slam as well. But it's a one-touch game in a lot of ways.
There it is. One more touch for the chip. All that's needed. 2-0 for ChippMcgill. docbach not finding the right options, not finding the ways to defend against this chip onslaught. And, understandable. It's difficult to do so.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying a lot of different things, and they've been able to get a couple of really nice things. Like this is just going to be a pot buster that just does so much damage, even gets the sequence after. That actually kills. That's one pot buster, and you just die.
Chip gaming.
Chip gaming, chat.
Chip moment.
Chat, you know what that deserves? That deserves a coupon code usage over on the Matcherino.
I agree.
Can we get some coupon codes? That's so sad.
Yeah, can you click on that Matcherino to support your local chip mains from getting blown up by Potemkins on occasion?
For just 25 cents a month, you too can support your local chip player.
And for just less than 25 seconds, Potemkin can steal 2 rounds and go 1-2 in the set. docbach feel a lot better off the back of 3 or 4 potbusters being all it takes.
I was gonna say I can't really see if they're feeling better because we don't know what else they have in the tank. They might be good for one game and then we just get chip gaming back. But here it is, nice little trading of the mid screen, gets the forward throw. But this is where docbach has really struggled. Is in the corner blocking against chip.
You see the positive bonus coming in for Chip yet again with a grip of meter already. Going to be really hard to defend against so much meter expenditure. Indeed, it gets expended immediately. That mix out of this 6K, basically unreactable. You got to guess. Guess is wrong means it is impossible to win that round. docbach needs to find one more to stay in this bracket.
Yeah, this is loser side, chat. I know we're bouncing around a little bit, but this is loser side. So this is one of these players' final chance here in the tournament. And the more that this set goes on, it's starting to look like it might be docbach as they do with the command grab there. That burst does give them corner control. That's huge.
We did see, as you were calling out before, that Alpha Blade combo does not work on heavies.
That said, if you're going to continually get knocked down like this, no burst available. There's not enough damage to kill, though. This should still be alive. No. Holy moly, that's a lot of damage.
I thought he was living through that, but guess not. ChippMcgill staying alive in this bracket on the loser side. docbach.
I thought the Potemkin guts would save him.
I did too.
But apparently they're susceptible to explosions.
He is, in fact, a tanky lad, but I guess that black tech armor that Potemkin rolls around with, more accurate in many ways, but still weak to explosions.
Very true. So that does move ChippMcgill on. They're going to be going up against SplatoonEnjoyer a little bit later on tonight. We do also still have Burkish versus Sebastian and Kazam versus Mozz on deck, which I'm looking at the stream production typing. It looks like we're going to be getting Burkish versus Sebastian up next.
We have some really volatile matches coming up, too.
Yes.
The SplatoonEnjoyer versus ChippMcgill, if that's going to be either Eno or Bridget against the Chip. Those are 2 squishy characters, 2 mobile mixed characters, so you can kind of blow each other up whenever they want. Burkish and Sebastian, I believe that is a Chip and a Nago, if I remember correctly. And that is going to be pretty snowbally in either direction as well. So we have a potential pretty quick couple matches coming up. It's going to be hard for any one player to fight back too hard once their opponent gets rolling.
Yeah, but I mean, like the bracket, if you think about it, has really kind of played out how we were expecting.
Yep.
We expected good showings from Kazam, Mozz, and Burkish. Burkish and Mozz met in top 8, which then sent Kazam and Mozz to winners finals, pretty much as expected. Burkish now has to work towards getting back to the losers finals situation, whereas Mozz versus Kazam will send one of them down. And as we may expect, it should be that Nagoriyuki versus Bridget matchup, which I haven't seen a whole lot of lately, but I think that's actually a fairly decent matchup for Nagoriyuki for a lot of the reasons we were talking about when we watched the Bridget mirror, in that you're using this air approach a lot, and 6P, Nagos isn't amazing. It's not Testament level, but it's good enough, and 2S is insane.
Yeah.
Especially once the blood starts packing up.
The good news for the Bridget is that very, very good aerial options between the bear slam, between the
command grab,
between all of the yo-yo set play. It can be pretty easy to get aerial approaches going. You can kind of get around that 2S, but then exactly what you're saying, the 6P is still super good. So I can imagine that being pretty good for Nago indeed. In the meantime, though, we are going to Burkish and Sebastian, which is, I think, Nago Chip, but we do see the Potemkin hover.
Yeah, I think he's just doing his buttons first before picking the character, but Burkish doesn't need to do a whole lot here, so they're going to be sticking with it. That's that Nagoriyuki pick. And you know what I'm surprised on? Nobody here in Boston really picks the neon blue color scheme.
Yeah.
The black and vibrant neon blue. That's honestly one of my favorite color schemes in the game. Between that and the I pick a lot of the pink character schemes, honestly. But I play Testament at the moment, so it's whatever. But whatever the white projectile color is for Zato and Testament, cursed.
Absolutely cursed.
And that's what everybody picks.
If you pick that, you're the villain.
Yeah, and everybody picks that color scheme. So this was, as we've seen already, a bit of a tough matchup for Burkish. Let's see if they can have a better chance against Sebastian. Honestly, if they go 0-2 against Nagoriyuki's, that's not something to be ashamed about.
That's respectable. That's fair.
6K, as we talked about, +1. Baits out the burst. There it is. Sebastian showcasing a bit of knowledge.
Getting that corner pressure rolling. Overdrive. This is only a couple hits. That's not very scaled.
It should still be alive, though.
Should be alive, yeah. Just barely.
Yeah, literally a pixel. But that plus frame could be enough to come through. Oh, Wiabare gets a knockdown. Blood
Ooh,
pops,
blood pop.
and that should be enough. There's no burst.
Gotta
And that was the combo we literally just saw drop against Potemkin. Which is crazy, because I genuinely thought Nago was also in that weight class.
Well, we'll look it up. In the meantime, we do see Burkish getting it rolling already once again, pushing all the way into the corner. Stagger pressure into the RC. Command grab as soon as the faultless defense is represented. 6K coming out again. Great backdash coming out of Sebastian.
That's crazy. They are both in the heavyweight class, so I don't know why it worked for one of these chip players, but not the other one.
What do you know? Ooh,
but
the reversal,
that's a challenge.
Super challenging the command grab. Oh, it was an alpha play. Now the command grab does, in fact, dodge.
Yeah, Alpha Blade doing a good job putting on the other side. Baits out the burst, but
doesn't even bother. Blue RC.
Oh,
you're so dead.
Yeah, all of that is burst safe as well.
Doesn't get quite the right combo, but close to that. Anyway, saving the burst on a pixel of health, carrying it into round 3.
Yeah, and it's tough because Burkish, for within reason, could have used it there.
Yeah.
Whereas on the other side, you're looking at Sebastian why didn't you use that there? You're going to die with burst, but then they end up not dying. So that's it. They've already used it already. They both characters, frame 1 used it. It felt like overhead coming through, having a block in the corner, nice back throw. I like the YRC.
Yep. Chip making use of that positive bonus by using the YRC, but the positive bonus is no longer in effect. Jump in JH on the counter hit. I think this should still be living. Ooh, all the way into the wall. The wall breaks on scale damage just enough to close it out. That combo was nutty.
I thought he was going to live.
I thought he was alive.
I'm looking at that. I'm like, he doesn't have enough time in the air. But no, I love this character swap going from one samurai to another. Baiken is insane in this patch. Definitely worse than Nago, I would say. But her tools are very problematic to deal with.
Yeah, I agree. Nago has a lot of very, very good tools, but maybe it's just a little bit of matchup comfort for Sebastian. I do think Nago does have a little bit harder time fighting against Chip than Baiken, in my personal opinion. The ability to represent that parry is very, very strong. Chip thrives off of stagger pressure and off of rotated plus frames, overheads, and command grabs. So 2 out of those 3 things are...
Oh, that's crazy. We went with the Escabari to start. That is a longer startup time, but it's pluser on block. But it also gives you that tether that was so useful, as we just saw there. But no, I mean, you're talking about the counter, which is obviously a great option. my immediate thought is her air options.
Yes.
Having the jump dust to shoot, having just air tatami, air kabari, like everything is being used.
The space control for Baiken is so strong, and that is something that is really hard to enforce as Nago against Chip compared to Baiken. Baiken can do it so much easier.
And that's not even to start talking about, the gun overdrive, right? Like, she can just shoot you, and there's nothing you can really do about it. But nice throw attack coming here. We're seeing the Yozansen being recognized a lot. Burst keeps him on the same side. It's so crazy that they're doing Escobar. You almost never see that anymore.
No, it's really good this season.
It's good, but people love their H-Kabari because it's more damage, it's faster, and they don't have to worry about being interrupted on the startup. But Yozansen coming through one more time for Sebastian.
So Baiken's my secondary after Anji. The reason Escobari is more popular now is because we figured out 2P 6K Tatami right after the Escobari can challenge almost all options. At worst, it trades with basically everything. Escobari being plus now means 2P is unchallengeable. So that means it's really, really, it's more reliable than ever before.
It's a really good knowledge check, I would say, because, like I said, I've talked to a couple other ones, and they're like, no, I just like doing H-Kabari. Yep. I take my frames, and then if I need to follow up, I got my slash afterwards. But no, that's great knowledge. We get the overdrive coming through here from Burkish. That should be enough to close it out. There's no way you burst in that situation.
No, absolutely not. Well, it looks like it was expended a little earlier in the match anyway. That was a runaway match for a Chip. And that's okay. We got a Baiken runaway last time. Got a Chip runaway this time. All's fair in love and war.
Oh, God.
Ooh, the cross-up.
Yeah, it's a bit tough.
Safe jump.
Safe jump coming through with the tatami, scooping him with the H-Kabari, now finally being showcased. There's that plus frames.
Wasn't quite in range for the 2-piece, so went for the far slash, which is an egregiously strong button this season.
Yeah. I think this character is probably the biggest winner of the patch, because not only did they make her just simply a better character, but they fixed her inputs. Because before, unless you were frame perfect with your quarter circles, then you sometimes didn't get what you needed. So that was just simply a bug fix that they went with. But everything else on top of that, golden.
Gold burst, in fact, coming through. Not quite enough damage for Chip because the gold burst did not land. That's okay. Just needs one more touch. Okay, make it 2. Alpha Blade closes it out. I think the Baiken is still the play.
Yes.
This is working substantially better than Nagoriyuki was. We saw a lot of really, really good option rotation there coming out of Burkish yet again. The parry was represented twice in a row, and both times Burkish played around it very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, Burkish, coming from a game that has a good amount of parries in it, is definitely aware of those options. And these days, probably, if they're playing Strive Online, has probably played against a few Baikens.
Oh, for sure.
So they're definitely aware of the option, and, they're well enough knowledgeable to stagger their game plan around bursts. They're definitely also doing it with parries. Oh, they actually dropped the combo. That's tragic. Oh, don't let it happen to you, Burkish. Yozansen, Kabari combo. When's the burst? That's my question.
Okay.
6P.
Yeah, a couple of other interesting things that happened there. We did see the 6P is a relatively new representation for Burkish, and I love the usage of the safe jumps. It's obvious it's a very canned setup for Baiken, but I think it's what was missing from the Nago play is a way to follow up on your pressure consistently.
Yep. But great combo sequence here. Opted into the red RC versus the overdrive, which had been the go-to option until now. But I think Burkish is feeling in a spot now where they're comfortable in their neutral game, that they're not overly reliant on that round start Oki.
This is a one-touch game for Baiken. Chip might need 2 if it's not a good starter.
Alpha Blade coming through. Goes for the cross-up again, gets the knockdown. Next hit will kill.
Actually had the correct read on the parry for the 6K, but just didn't quite time it right. Conversion comes through for Burkish off of one more touch. That'll bring him into losers final. Sebastian, I really like the switch.
Yeah.
The Baiken definitely looked good. Maybe just not quite as warmed up. Not quite sure. The thing to me that stood out with the Baiken was a lot of parry usage that was not landing. If one or two of those landed instead of whiffed, it was an entirely different match.
Yeah, entirely different. Because that thing does a grip of damage. It catches everybody off guard.
Chip? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's a potbuster, basically.
It certainly feels like it. But yeah, I know Biken, I think, is definitely one of the strongest characters of the patch. I would easily say top 5. Especially once you get some really good practice into it. It wins in a lot of matchups. And I mean, we never saw the gun overdrive utilized at all. That's a huge one. You get so many plus frames out of that, both in the air and on the ground, that you can really just press the issue. Like I'm looking at it here. It's +5 on the ground, which isn't as good as what was the one we saw earlier that was +8. Oh, Roger. Yeah. But still, same concept. You send that out. And one thing I learned recently is it completely ignores Happy Chaos clone.
Yeah, it
just
does.
ignores
it
it
entirely.
So if you're playing that matchup, chat, if you're a Biken playing against Happy Chaos and he pops up the clone and tries to steady aim you, just shoot that man. Just be disrespectful and just shoot right through it. You will win. And it hurts.
Biken gun super goes through enemy projectiles.
Yeah.
And apparently also clones. Who knew? Yeah.
Not all clones though. I think. Well, I was going to say, I've seen it work against Chip, but Chip's clone also
has a
hurt box, yeah. So that's the difference there. But let us see what our next matchup is. I imagine it's going to be, I would have been wrong, so I'm glad I didn't say it. It is going to be SplatoonEnjoyer versus ChippMcgill. So just another Chip player. I guess the TO for tonight is just trying to speed run these and get those guys out of here. They're tired of seeing Chip, I guess.
Well, it is a feast or famine kind of character.
Yeah,
these things happen.
He's so hyped to watch, though. There's so much stuff he gets to do that not a lot of other characters can really copy, which is fun. And I'm glad that we're seeing the players continue to pick up new characters, right? Like Kazam was the Milia player. Now they play Bridget, and even though she was just released and is still in a tech learning matchup, like Bridget's really strong in my opinion. We had multiple in top ADCT last weekend as well, both Kizzy K and Diaphone playing that character.
Both the top 8, both a great success. And one thing you were mentioning earlier is that Chip is one of the most expressive characters this drive. I think Bridget is going to also be a very player expressive character. So even if it's strong or not, to be determined, they've only been out for a month, whatever. I still think she's going to end up being a very fun character to play.
I don't think
a lot
it's
of
even been a month.
diehard players because of that.
Because she released the day after Evo, right?
Yep.
Oh, no, we're at about a month now. Yeah, you're right. But, yeah, talking about player expression, we got Chip versus Eno. Eno, another top 8 at Evo character. Shout out to Daru Eno. But, no, this character was just simply nerfed this patch. So to still see players experimenting with this character, I think is really good.
SplatoonEnjoyer, the one we saw on the top half of the bracket who loves super confirms.
Yes.
Either from strings like we just saw there, or the command grab super on Wake Up in the corner. So keep an eye on that whenever they have a lot of meter.
Yep. But
big old damage coming through here off of the DP. No, okay. Nice little small combo. Wall slump is going to start here. Frame kills.
That's crazy. As we saw the FD bubble, but Chip didn't block.
Yeah.
So that they held the macro and then just didn't hold block. But 6K Red RC, that's going to hurt, but the wall breaking a little earlier than I think they hoped for because they are still alive.
Meter is going to be available for both of these players, both in positive at the same time. I spoke to her. Oh, that was an interesting choice.
That was a hard read attempt because previously when SplatoonEnjoyer had gone in from that type of height, they got 6P'd.
Yeah.
So they were expecting like a run-up 6P attempt, but didn't work out that time. That said, they're still able to get the regular throw, which matters because Chip does explode on regular throw.
Meanwhile, we got double 6P counter hit coming at the beginning of this round. Just a throw on the punish for the DP. That's okay. Not quite optimal, but still something.
Yeah, and I think that's something you would typically only see out of Eno and Milia.
Yes.
Because they want to get that setup opportunity on the wake-up, whereas everyone else is like, I have more than enough damage to just punish you.
Yep, I agree. Eno definitely values that setup, that vortex, more than just about anything.
Oh, gets caught low into the red RC. No burst available. Slash. Going to be going into the next round. Feeling pretty good about themselves.
Yeah, good signs of life. It was a pretty runaway match in game number 1 for SplatoonEnjoyer. Good to see ChippMcgill finding a way to fight back. Ooh, no punish on the DP at all this time, but does find a way to get that hard knockdown. Overhead.
Nice little stagger on their attempt. Gets another overhead going as well. This time, not going to let the slump happen. They want those plus frames. They want that positive bonus. So that was something that they used very well against Lucky D earlier, was that high float round start, because Lucky D was really loving to do Ride the Lightning in that scenario.
Yes.
This time, though, ChippMcgill wasn't expecting it. That was a chip kill, I believe. I saw the FD bubble, but I don't think they had enough.
Yeah, it's not quite in time. Ooh, 6H combo starter. Pushing into the corner. Burst has to get expended to maintain screen presence.
Oof.
6P is so good for Eno.
Gets the forward throw as well. Yeah, finally, again, the DP will connect, but not respecting options.
BRC makes for a bit of a scrambly situation. Burst keeps corner pressure for McGill.
Yeah, the YRC just trying to stay defensive as well. Stroke the big tree was the option that was nerfed this patch here for Eno. So to see them throwing it out so willy-nilly is a bit interesting. But command grab keeping the corner.
Jumps the command grab this time. YRC just to maintain that screen position one more time. We saw that dust coming through, sneaking in a low underneath it. 6K overhead. It means we're at 1 apiece. Some good adaptations there. Significantly more representation of the DP coming out of McGill, which I like that option. If you're going up against a Vortex character, showing you're not afraid of it is a big deal. If you haven't, Kazam has a YouTube channel where he recently put up a video about playing defensively versus playing scared.
Yeah.
This is a great example of that, where DP is an example of a defensive option, not a scared option.
Yeah, but it's also, you've already seen the 2 punish options coming from Eno on that situation, right? One time they opted for a throw. Who cares? It's not that much damage.
That's fine.
And the other one, they didn't even get a punish. They went for a heavy button instead, didn't get anything out of it. So you know that even on a whiff DP, you're not going to die, right? Like, you're not against a Nagoriyuki who's going to literally kill you. You're against an Eno who might throw you at worst.
Yeah, usually the risk reward on that is really, really rough. But in this case, where Eno doesn't have those one-touch kill you combos, it's pretty okay. We see right here, best you're going to get is you get that screen position. He just does it again.
Yeah. Like, he takes the corner control, especially with the tension on deck afterwards. 6K not going to get punished in that situation either. Oh, I thought they had a pickup ready. Doesn't matter. They bait the burst.
Doesn't quite get the wall slump. That's okay. Still has the screen position. Has just below a meter.
Oh, gets overheaded. This is starting to look a little scary. One more guess for the game. Yeah, has to
RC
DP that one time.
Yeah. Good reversal, RC, just to keep yourself in a position where you are able to act. And then a quick little 6K afterward gets it into a 2-1.
Oh, the clash into command grab. That's insane. It works out in favor of ChippMcgill. I'm going to be keeping the pressure going. Obviously, the note adjustment was this patch as well, where you can direct where her note goes. But we've only seen low note coming out of SplatoonEnjoyer, so it hasn't really prevented any air options.
Agreed. It's mostly been used as an Oki option. You can use that to make it difficult to defend with the command dash, because you can go for overhead and low at the same time. Makes it very, very tricky, very ambiguous, which will hit first. But doesn't even matter when you're a chip and you can just DP your way out of it every time.
Ooh.
Combo.
Is that enough?
Starter off of the overhead on the Rekka series. Not able to react to that in time means there is one more chance for SplatoonEnjoyer to stay in this round.
That's not a great start either.
It is not, already into the corner.
There's really only one Rekka in the entire game that you can disrespect the overhead. And it's your characters, Anji's. Everybody else gets a great combo afterwards, especially on counter hit. But nice little YRC here, trying to play defensive. BRC actually successful, but all they got was that 6P. Gonna try and keep the pressure going. They went for the double jump. They get the hit, and they stroke to close out.
Several overheads there. Did a really good job of blocking them, but The crossover does come through for SplatoonEnjoyer, gets that opportunity, gets that mound on the board.
Oh, but we're still pressing buttons on Wake Up out of ChippMcgill. Gets a throw as well, and now look at this. They can run up again with the command grab attempt.
The gold burst punishes the lack of a punish off the DP. A lot of meter available, doesn't get the fast cancel.
That said, not the biggest punish afterwards as well, forcing out the backdash out of SplatoonEnjoyer, excuse me. Gets the nice little sequence here.
Can't get the double stroke, doesn't get the wall stomp quite yet. One more touch, no. The stroke will close it out. That's 2 apiece. Really, really good fight coming out of SplatoonEnjoyer.
Yeah, SplatoonEnjoyer making the right adaptations that time. Was looking a little flustered there in Game 3.
Definitely.
But brought it back in Game 4. Let's see who can really close out in Game 5 now. Who has made the better adjustments?
It's going to be important to see how they play around the Dragon Punch game.
Yeah, I did like that we saw that on a note Wake Up that time.
Yes.
Before that, they've just been fine blocking note and blocking high. But to actually represent the DP now adds that extra layer of unpredictability. Command grab. Big damage. So much damage.
It really is.
Why does the ninja get a high damage command grab?
It surprises me every time. I love this choice to throw. You have the win condition of the wall slump. Getting them into the corner is more important than pretty much anything. But the burst is baited.
And the command grab to close it out.
That is enough.
Up until the last half a second of that round where we get the burst bait into command grab, that was actually really looking like SplatoonEnjoyer's round. They had the tempo in the corner. If they just waited a couple more frames to burst, it would have been a great tempo burst. But because they went a little bit early, they were punished.
And here we go. Meter available on both sides here. Overhead just into a raw super into the dive.
Final game, final round.
Really good way to close it out off of a confirm, and like you said, we got that double Luigi. 6P out of this character is so strong.
Yeah, Ino's is actually almost underrepresented, I would say, because they don't have many players just jumping at them.
Yeah.
But Chip is one of those characters, and so we get the back throw here. YRC trying to stay safe. Alpha Blade's out of the corner. But look at that. YRC burst for tempo, 6K. Oh, you got to block high and low.
Good challenge coming out from the Ino player.
Oh, tried to go for the overhead. 6P, though. Oh, it's blocked.
Rekka's coming through, doesn't believe in it, doesn't stand on number 3, does this time, doesn't land though, is blocked for a modicum of damage with the 6P after the YRC. Fighting back through that entire set. Just barely not able to close it out is ChippMcgill, which means SplatoonEnjoyer and Burkish will be in the losers semifinals coming up real soon. And again, because we haven't talked about it in a little while, winners finals up top is Kazam and Mozz. We got our top 4.
Yeah, we're going to do our top 4, and another thing we haven't really talked about much tonight is that Matcherino chat. Exclamation point, Matcherino, whether you're at home in the chat, whether you're in the venue, because I can hear myself over the overheads, pick out your phone, go to matcherino.com/t/ I don't actually know what the end of our URL is this weekend, but go to twitch.tv/BostonBlueBeat and put in exclamation point Matcherino. It will pull up that link. You can go ahead and follow that. Use the claim code option after signing in. And then while you're there, use some of those sponsor quests. The sponsor quests are free to you. All they take is an extra second of your time, and they do support tonight's pot just as much as everything else does. And you are going to want to be able to do that, as well as, if you're not here today, no worries. We do have another offline monthly coming up very, very soon. You can see it on your screen right now. That is going to be at Balance Patch, and that is going to be on October 6th. That is the October edition of our monthly. You can see all the games on there. I got some of them here. We got Exurge, Strive, BBCF, and Melty Blood type Lumina, as well as that slide has Undernight on it, as well as current code. So definitely lots of games to play here at the monthly. Again, October 16th, that Sunday.
And thankfully, we got a new partnership with Junk Food Arcades helping us out running these events. And if you are a fan of what they do, enter into our ranked battle burst limit league. That's right. We're committing to it. You heard it here first. This is a league.
Otherwise known as a ranking battle for those of you who are perpetually online in the FGC. Those have been running since August 15th, and they will continue to run until October 3rd. So you do still have some time to earn those points. And the top players there will be invited to an invitational on October 15th. So definitely get involved sooner rather than later. And if you guys like the sound of a leverless option and do want to check out Junk Food, go ahead on over to their website. They have more than just leverless, actually. They do have traditional stick boxes as well. But if you're looking for a perfect travel option that can fit in the back pocket of your jeans, which I have tested, does work for men's pockets. I'm sorry, ladies. Your pockets don't exist, actually, for the most part. But those are also, you can swap the switches on them as well. So if you don't like the switches that they come with, I have tried out a version with orange switches that is much better in my opinion. So if you get it and you're not a huge fan of the switches that come stock, just change them out. They should be plug and play is what I'm told.
Right
so
on.
look forward to that. That's just as much as I'm looking forward to this matchup here between Kazam and Mozz. We're already seeing the DP option out of Kazam.
Yep, it's a really strong option in this matchup. There's a lot of really good stagger pressure for Nagoriyuki, and having the DP as an option to try and escape that is very strong. We see PRC being used for mix into the command grab. Baby is being rocked out here. Really, that throw.
Really crazy sequence. In all honesty, there are lots of good options coming out of Kazam that Mozz just simply wasn't ready for. Back throw, PRC sets up for a little bit of mix, connects, and that is going to be enough, actually.
By the time that throw PRC came out, I hadn't even registered a throw was there.
Yeah.
Kazam situational awareness to challenge with the throw on the Fukio forward. Very impressive. That is a tricky mix-up there. Going from the low into the high, into the overhead, into the cross-up. Command grab once again, get that set play going into another command grab. Doesn't RC it, doesn't take the throw quite yet, which makes a whole lot of sense. Could have gone for the super, wasn't quite enough damage. There's the super, that's enough damage. Just throw it out there. You know what? I got the meter, it's plus. Nothing you do on round start can fight this. I'm going to go ahead, throw it out, get myself a cool game one win.
That's actually wild because, you know, we've seen a few Nagoriyukis already today, and we keep talking about how great that round start is.
Yes.
And especially in that opportunity where we got the wall break, but not because of an overdrive. So there was no hard knockdown. It was a legitimate round start opportunity for Mozz that time. And like you said, Roger just beats out all of the options.
Look at how much meter Bridget has built in this corner sequence. 2 bars expended and still almost another bar built just off of being able to press buttons in the corner.
I do think her meter gain might be a little high.
It's a little nuts.
It might be a little much, but we'll see how Arxis sees it. As we do get a nice little corner sequence here, gets the knockdown. Mozz, great on challenging opponents, though, and that YRC, great for tempo, catches him on the falling, and just takes a round.
Yeah, we're seeing Kazam is really heavily favoring fuzzy jumping here, the corner pressure. So if you can play around that for Mozz, that'll be a very strong tool to create pressure and to convert off of pressure you've been creating.
I'm surprised Mozz blocked that, honestly. The Fukio forward, I thought, put them in an awkward position, but handbrake comes out, no challenge from Mozz, and they get knocked down. Oh my God.
Oh, this setup is disgusting. Command throw coming out twice, make it. Do it again, you won't. 3 times!
Into the RC. Oh, but the wall break was so early. If they had gotten even like 1 extra close slash in there, then it would have been enough for the kill. But using that bear drop after the Sonic twirl, this character is nutty. Like, Bridget brings so much to the table. Her mix game is out of this world right now, and it's so unexplored, too. That's the other problem here.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy to me is we see all of this crazy mix and crazy setup opportunities coming after just like 5 weeks of development. So I am so excited to see how this character builds in the future. Already see this damage building up in the corner. One more touch will probably do it for Bridget, but not quite. Mozz fighting back. RC to cover the approach, goes over for the cross-up, has the meter, but doesn't quite have the conversion. That's okay. It's still early.
No command grab. But, yeah, I mean, that was the unsafe rollerblade option, so had to RC it. But they had so much momentum, they were just able to go up and over. +8, as we talked about earlier, hits the handbrake, goes low with the 2K2D, and that is another game on the board there for Kazam, who, again, just an incredibly strong player here.
Kazam's cracked. Let's be honest. He's playing out of his mind right now. These cross-ups, these overheads, these setups are so potent.
And
Which is crazy because Mozz is no slouch.
Yeah, not only is Mozz no slouch, but Kazam was also insane on the Milia. And that was this character. No, Bridget's been out for a month. Milia's been in the base roster, and I would probably say Kazam's Bridget's almost looking stronger.
Yeah.
Granted, that could be character strength, right? Milia is not in the bestest of spots right now.
And also, like, you can kind of almost see the excitement for the character through his play.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people have been switching off Milia, LK also switching to Biken lately. It can be really, really clear from watching when someone has their heart in a character, right? And I'm seeing it here.
Yeah, and this character, like we keep saying, still has a lot of options to explore. No punish on the throw whiff, though. Gets a forward throw of their own. Kazam just continually to abuse this pressure game. Roger.
Oh! Roger coming through, challenging the Fukio. I love that. Gold burst is blocked, though. I like the choice to throw it out.
The burst itself wasn't actually punished either. That's the crazy bit.
That was a mind game. Kazam had already done that handbrake into RC several times in this set. Chose not to, saying, I've already represented it. I expect you to read or to react to my RC. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to take the opportunity. Mozz, perfectly happy to play on that layer, though.
Oh, that's not enough? Oh, and no OTG at the end either. But 5 dust does it, taking us to a third round here. Still set point for Kazam. Mozz has to represent a win here if they want to stay in it. But, I mean, the fact that you can throw out the yo-yo off of most options is really kind of a great start here. But the Fukio forward throw into red RC sequence.
Getting started here yet again. Dust is blocked. There's a bar available for Kazam. There it is, that mind game going back to layer 0. Burst expended for Mozz as well. We're seeing a lot of air approaches for Kazam and challenges out of Mozz. 2-1, Mozz fighting back.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a couple different anti-air options that time. We saw the 6P was successful, and then in that exact ending sequence, the 6P actually whiffed due to the air trajectory change, but close slash was still the viable option.
We're seeing the 5 dust come out from Kazam a couple times here. We have not seen Mozz challenge the command throw once.
No, it's tough. I don't know the numbers on it exactly.
It's just barely reactable. It's like 23, 24 frames, I want to say. Coming out again, RC gets the wall splat. Is this going to be enough damage?
No.
Not quite.
26 frames startup.
26, okay, I was a little shy.
So it's actually slower, if you think about it, than a lot of other options in the game. It's actually
doesn't RC it. Back to the mind game.
Yeah, but look at, they went for the handbrake, and that's enough frame advantage. That's the quicker of the two options, and the 2S from Mozz wasn't fast enough to avoid the trade. No punish on the gold burst. That wasn't a punish on the gold burst. That was a punish on the option after the gold burst. But sets up the yo-yo, keeps the pressure applied, high-low mix in its barest of sense.
Ooh, failed the TK roll. That's okay. Back to the corner. Has meter. Ooh, you're dead.
Yeah, challenging.
You're very, very dead.
Oh, the
Ooh, had
blood?
to pop. Never mind.
Could he not have killed there?
No, because the pop is automatic.
Yeah, but he Fukio'd for the pop. Couldn't he have just hit a longer distance button?
Maybe. It depends on if the pop is going to happen without the Fukio.
True, but also the Fukio was probably the cancel at the end of the...
Exactly. You can't, when you're going to pop, you cancel the special you're in with the Fukio, so you can make sure you pop in
closer,
the corner,
yeah,
so that you can still stay in advantage.
That makes sense. But it's still a set point here for Kazam. Mozz could take us to a game 5 if they can close out this round, and they're in a very great position to do so. I thought that was actually going to do it. Bursted.
Looking for one more opportunity is Mozz. Couple plus frames.
Counter.
Big range button. Gets a counter hit, but that's okay. Mozz finding the way in. Fukio forward. 2K, 2D, 2-2.
Yeah, and I do like that Mozz actually used the YRC as the defensive option there because it gave you more of an opportunity to get a punish on the after effects, whereas a burst there sends you back to neutral full screen, where we've seen Kazam actually have very great success with setting up of the yo-yo and stuff like that. Whereas when you're trapped in a corner like this against Mozz, having to deal with all this Nagoriyuki pressure, like, you love that forward as the Nagoriyuki. That said, hate blocking. Not a fan.
I didn't pay $60 to block. You kidding me?
Exactly. But look at how much damage both of those throws did. 2 throws, and the life lead is near insurmountable.
Very good DP when the clone comes through. Screen position back to mid. Pushing Mozz all the way into the corner already. Good throw tech.
I said near insurmountable, chat. I didn't say definitely insurmountable, but...
Ooh, a sliver of health. Big
for
buttons.
Yeah, the 5S there, working out. It's such a tough thing to deal with. Nago, though, equally tough to deal with.
Fuzzy jump again for Kazam. Really, really favoring that defensive option.
Nice Fukio backwards, gets the poke. Not ready for it on the side of Kazam.
Back to neutral. Commanding position for Mozz now. Ooh, good blocking on the overheads coming out of that RC.
Oh.
Counter hit starter.
That's a huge start option.
Really good conversion for Kazam.
Yeah, and look at how high that blood meter is for Mozz as well. They're going to have a lot of work to do here. Doesn't have the burst, so that back throw, buying a lot of time. Bursts the base perfectly. Going to take us to a final round here in Game 5.
Fukio backward as a way to bait that burst. A hard call out. Can't block because you're in the middle of a special. Means Fukio is the only way to call that out that I am aware of. Command throw pushes Mozz all the way into the corner, but jumps out of the second.
Not able to punish it, though. Too fast of a recovery in that sequence. Oh, but he gets a counter hit in the air.
2S.
Finally getting some really good read opportunities here. Oh, another counter. Oh, man, this is very much looking like Mozz's round to deal with.
This is a final round. Just a little bit more damage, and Mozz is in grands. Doesn't find it yet. Can chip out. There it is, the 2K. Mozz into grand finals. Kazam gonna have a shot at the run back if he can make it through the losers finals. Hard fought match. Mozz, a couple good adjustments there.
Yeah.
I really like the hard callouts. Fukio backward for baiting the burst. That happened a couple times in the latter half of the set. Worked really, really well. The command grab usage out of both players was, I think, kind of skewed, interestingly. Mozz didn't favor it nearly as much, given that Kazam was so heavily representing the fuzzy jump, whereas Kazam kept throwing it out. Mozz never really had a good way to respond to the command grab, so you can get to just keep using it.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw one whiff total, I think, from Kazam, and it did get punished by a counter hit, but not a whole lot afterwards, whereas on the side of Mozz, you know, the whole character is designed almost around getting that command grab, because it then, you know, lessens all of your blood gauge. But we also didn't see a lot of specials from Mozz that time. We saw one blood pop that entire 5-game set.
Yeah.
And outside of that, they were just winning off of just straight normals, because it felt like almost every time they hit like a 5S or something like that, it was a counter hit.
Yeah.
And it just explodes the HP bar of Bridget, who she doesn't have a high. She's not very tanky. So that was a good setup for Mozz, I would say. We'll see if, you know, in grand finals, whoever they face, they get a similar setup in that they don't have to use specials and they don't have to think about the blood rage as much.
Yep. Very, very important to manage that blood, and Mozz, like you said, doing a very good job of that. Also, we didn't really see a whole lot of like Nago robbery that set. It was pretty much just kind of good, honest play. High damage, don't get me wrong, but you're playing Guilty Gear.
Yeah, it's not like, you know, release Soul Bad Guy, right? Where it's just like Fafnir into Fafnir into Fafnir, and if you get hit by any of them, it's a counter hit for 90%. Yep. It was just Nago hitting you with, you know, a solid button that counter hit your also solid button, right? Like, don't get it twisted. Bridget's buttons are pretty nice. But no, we're going to be heading back downstairs. We're going to be heading over to Burkish versus SplatoonEnjoyer. So this is a player that has beaten a chip already. took it 3-2 over ChippMcgill, whereas Burkish on the other side took it 3-1 over Sebastian. And this is just an interesting matchup regardless. They're both mixed characters. They're very squishy. They're very floaty. That said, I think Burkish will have the experience in the matchup to not get caught off guard as much. But we'll see how SplatoonEnjoyer plays because, you know, their first match against Lucky D, I would say was very different compared to their match against ChippMcgill.
I agree entirely. I will also say SplatoonEnjoyer did a very good job adapting to the DP out of Chip in the match against ChippMcgill. So it's going to be important to see if that is as big of a factor this time. Because if so, already being in that mindset of looking out for that is going to be very, very beneficial. That said, Burkish already getting the corner pressure off of the tempo burst.
Yeah, I think once you're into the corner as the Eno in this situation, your options become extremely limited. But look at that. DP, Red RC, going to be able to get a full sequence going here. We also noticed that ChippMcgill loved command grab.
Yes,
whereas
absolutely.
I don't think Burkish realistically uses it as much. So they're much more reliant on hitting buttons and making sure that they're just winning neutral. They tried to challenge and stroke the big tree that time, though. Didn't work out in their favor. Gets hit overhead.
One more. There should be a wall slump. Yep. Ooh, interesting meter usage. PRC for some reason.
Oh,
BRC
God.
forward straight into the 6H. Guitar to the face doesn't feel good.
No,
unless
just
you're getting around on the board for it.
Yeah, completely just planted him into the earth there. But yeah, that PRC was actually really odd.
I'm betting that was
misinput.
Probably a misinput.
Yeah, but command grab, there it is.
Yep, and as you mentioned earlier, Burkish special.
Ooh, that might be enough.
6H counter hit leads to a perfect for Burkish. Unscaled off of just that one hit, big damage means we got another counter hit here. No, burst has to be expended. Makes a lot of sense. Counter hit again, though.
Yeah. Oh, nice little backdash on wake up there. Beats out the regular throw attempt from Burkish to give them one of their own. Oh, but now got to deal with Alpha Blades up and down the coast. Gets hit low. Oh, counter hit.
Splatoon's swinging, man. I'm not sure what Splatoon is looking for, but they're getting counter hit a lot this set, especially during Rekka series.
Yeah. And the Rekka series from Chip is actually really good.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, the command grab from Chip, it's so backloaded damage-wise.
It is.
It really catches you off guard sometimes. But in that scenario, there was no catching you off guard. Once that connected, you were for suredly dead. But even a regular throw, it actually does a fair bit of damage. Look at that. 2 in a row, and you're already in such a good lead here as Chip. Gets the air-to-air and is able to pick it right up off the ground.
80% already off of just a couple interactions, all based off throws. 6K, fast RC.
You're dead.
Just about enough damage. Not quite. There it is, though. Whiffed the 5P. That would have been the round ender. Recovers with the 2K.
And the 6P to start the round with that huge counter hit gives you all the control in the world. Burst is still available here for SplatoonEnjoyer. But when, if ever, do they choose to exercise it?
Gonna have to be soon. You don't want to die with the resources available.
But I mean, look at that one hit, and Burkish is like, nah, I'm not dealing with this.
I'm out.
Yeah, you can't make me live in this corner, and I certainly don't want to be here. Alpha Blade in the sky. Alpha Blade again. Finally getting a block coming through.
Ooh, the purple RC to try and stay safe into the DP, but wasn't quite in range. Maybe just a little bit early. Wall slump setups.
Red RC into the dust, and that will be enough with the Chemical Love. Round W for SplatoonEnjoyer here. Takes us to a round 3. Let's see if they can close it out and tie it up on the board. This is a great start here. Oh, they get the overhead, but it's actually countered.
I really appreciate both of these players are doing such a good job of getting their opponent into the corner off of just 1 or 2 interactions.
Yeah.
They're doing a really, really good job of converting everything they can into positional advantage.
Yeah, the sequences from both characters are super strong right now this season.
There
and that
it
was...
We saw Burkish back up, expecting the burst.
He literally just walked away.
Just walked away and then just walked forward. And SplatoonEnjoyer twitched. They were looking for something to gold burst to try and get the advantage. Burkish didn't walk forward enough for it to actually land, means they get to take their end off the punish.
Yeah, and right there we actually saw the air approach there from SplatoonEnjoyer, and then for some reason they did air note, and Burkish was like, really? Like right here? Right now? Okay.
If you say so.
Yeah, I'll take this corner petition from you. And gets hit with the overhead portion of the Rekka, again scaling incredibly low. So tons of damage, making it almost a one-touch game here for Burkish.
One throw game at the very least. There it is, air to air into an
combo.
easy ground conversion. Super easy.
It's tough. Chip's hard to play against right now. I'm not envious of anybody that is forced to play against this character for your tournament life.
And these throws are getting so much work done, not just for this set, but for every chip in the bracket so far. It's been really, really hard for anybody to play around the strike throw that Chip can put out so quickly and so consistently. One touch into a confirm. There was basically no scaling.
No, not dead.
Not enough, though.
Just barely not dead. But even still, that is a very tough position to find yourself in, as we do get the gold burst attempt once more, but it's enough for Burkish to close out the set. That is going to be 3-1, I believe. Or was that 3-0?
That was, I think it was 3-0. Splatoon's bursts in that set were
questionable.
A little preemptive.
Yes.
Specifically. I agree they were not optimal. There were a lot of situations where I think Splatoon was specifically saving burst to be able to gold burst when the next approach comes.
Yeah.
And then every time there was just any sort of motion coming out of the opponent, they went for the situation confirm gold burst when they didn't confirm the situation.
Yeah.
So, little rough.
I'm personally a proponent of early bursting in tough matchups.
I agree.
Set the stage to make sure that you're not starting the round at a 60% life deficit.
I think you and I are both tempo players, though,
yeah.
So we're more than happy to spend our resources to keep ourselves out of a bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need it. I need my health to stay in the round. I don't need burst to stay in the round, right? I'll gladly, use my health as a resource, but only up to a point. I was a control player in Hearthstone, so I know all about it. But in this game, nah.
I'm a tempo player in card games too. What can I say?
Yeah, I'm not about starting in a deficit. But speaking of no deficit, we're seeing two incredibly strong players with their characters up on the stage now. Burkish versus Kazam. Gonna be a tough start here for Burkish.
Yeah, already getting into the corner, already getting really good damage down. The command grab, fast RC into a wall splat is an easy confirm for Kazam. Good, solid damage. And interestingly, Bridget's a low damage character, but Chip is a low health character.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter if you don't have a lot of health or a lot of damage when your character is doing average damage when it's a low health character.
Yeah, and I mean, being able to get the sequence off of the command grab, that's a pretty high damaging command grab just in general.
Yes.
Throw that onto a chip and it just looks insane. But even a regular normal throw looks pretty good. But having that meterless DP is such a great tool against Chip because there's only a handful of characters that have it, really. So having Bridget with one means a lot.
Command grab after the wheelie
Prime.
makes it so simple. You're still playing on layer 1. You're not even going into anything tricky quite yet.
Not yet, anyway.
You don't have to unless your opponent has shown they know what to do.
Yeah, and again, newer character means that not only does the person playing it not really know everything going on, neither does their opponent a lot of the time. But already very representative with the DP from Kazam, so that is something that Burkish is very well versed in.
We're also seeing Kazam is already playing around the DPs a lot by going for shimmies after approach. A lot of these times, I don't think Bridget is quite quick enough to have a true meaty. I could be wrong about that, but we're seeing a lot of these situations where you get a knockdown that's a little bit of range to it. Kazam goes for a shimmy right after to try and play around the DP. Doesn't matter, though, when the DP lands for Burkish in response. Yellow RC is baited with a backdash, but doesn't matter. Trying to dash back in. Quick little 2S out of Kazam. Keep away in full effect.
That was kind of a weird interaction, in all honesty. There was a lot going on there that really could have gone either way at any second, but right now, actually getting the Sonic connection, gets the pickup with the summon. Now you got a block, though.
We are really wake-up reversal gaming here in Boston today.
No respect from anybody, honestly.
I mean, that is the Boston way.
True. Boston hates people. But look at that. DP into the RC. Going to be able to take corner control again. Excuse me?
What?
Pause. Yo, what?
Kazam, hold up. You're doing this man dirty. What was that?
No, that is a Daisuke decision. That was not Kazam. The vision is coming true, chat. What was that?
What that was is a 2-0 for Kazam already in this set.
Going to be able to get a nice punish there on the slash attempt, but going through the wall is as we do get some positive bonus here for Burkish coming through.
Start that snowball that we've seen out of Chip so far in this bracket. Confirm 2 buttons into the overdrive. Not going to be enough damage, but that will get a hard knockdown. Maintain positive bonus. Maintain everything until you get a reversal in your face.
I'm genuinely surprised. I thought that was a safe jump.
I thought it was too. Well, it's only a safe jump if you hold block.
But I thought the definition of safe jump was that you...
No,
oh, you're saying Burkish didn't block. Okay.
Yeah. You still have to input the OS.
I see what you're saying.
Hard knockdown coming out once again for Burkish. Is that on reaction? I don't know if the clone is reactable, but there have been many DPs for Kazam coming out on clones.
Yeah, I mean, the clone is an interesting one to be...
Ooh, drops the wall combo.
Clone is 25 startup, so I guess it could be reaction technically, but doesn't get it that time, and here we go through the wall.
Just a bit more damage for Burkish to make that happen.
Purple
RC to keep safe, but the burst is blocked. It doesn't matter, though, if you're not punishing it correctly.
That's definitely a drop there from Burkish. 100% should have had the burst bait punish, but look at the momentum you get as Bridget, like being able to fly through the sky because of the Heelys. But 6K RC is going to be enough to close it out there for Burkish. Finally getting on the board. 2-1, and some really nice adjustments, I should say.
Yeah, I agree. On the board, we see Kazam already pushed into the corner. That is yet another bait on the bursts.
Oh, and that was the grimy stuff into the regular throw. Sets up the clone attempt as well. Overdrive should be enough to kill.
I think you're dead, right? No, just a sliver. Look for the DP. No, goes for the Alpha Blade cross up on the wake up.
So I mean, that overdrive does hit you a lot.
It does.
So it does scale quite heavily.
True.
But, you know, he doesn't necessarily need the damage. He's got enough going on. He doesn't really need it.
Plenty of tools.
But nice air-to-air there
challenge
from Kazam, looking to keep the game in their favor. Really doesn't want to have to take this to a Game 5. They have been gaming quite a bit up to this point.
Snowball is in full effect. After that positive bonus comes, the blue RC does not convert into anything. Will not build enough meter. There it is. Make it confirmed. Indeed, we're going to 2-2, Game 5, one way or another, whether Kazam likes it or not.
Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy that we literally called the top 3 players before the tournament even started. But to have Kazam actually lose to Burkish here, I would say is a bit of an upset, honestly. Even though, you know, Kazam is playing a new character, like their skill in general usually keeps them quite high on the list. But right now, Burkish looking incredibly strong, making a lot of right reads, playing the game to their favor a lot of the time.
Okay, it's bear time. We're bear gaming.
Oh, 6P. Forcing out the burst here from Kazam. Nice block.
That situation specifically is what's making the difference in this set, is that Burkish is not falling for the RCs after the skate.
Yeah.
We've seen across the rest of the bracket, Kazam has been getting so many conversions and opportunities off of the RC mix, but Burkish simply isn't falling for it.
Yeah. And I mean, it helps that, you know, he's playing a shorter character than Nagoriyuki, so it might not have that craziness that tall characters sometimes has to deal with in fighting games. But either way, like, you still got to block it one way or the other. But DP's out of the potential mix, but here comes
DP's
Kazam.
out of the potential mix.
Yeah, right back at him. That time we go for the fast RC low.
Ooh,
Mashes.
Good challenge on the command throw. That's something that we have not seen throughout the rest of the bracket. Kazam has been very happy to throw that out, but no one has been able to challenge it. Doesn't matter when you can get the wall break of your own. Final round here in Losers Finals between Kazam and Burkish.
We've been going the distance all night long. It only makes sense that the 2 top players would do it as well. And now look at this. Baits out the whiff, gonna dash forward, gets a really nice sequence started here. Even got the cross up, that was crazy.
Cross up into a cross up, in fact. Now we're back to neutral. No, running in through Bridget's buttons. That dash speed playing such a pivotal role right now makes it so easy to approach. Confirming into the super once again. Hard knockdown, positive bonus. This is Burkish's round to lose.
Yep, goes for that safe jump attempt again. Does finally close it out with the low Rekka. 3-2 over Kazam, who has been playing Bridget very, very well up to this point. And that sets up a grand final matchup between Mozz and Burkish.
I don't think this is a run back. I don't think
winners
Mozz,
top 8, yeah.
No, I am mistaken. Mozz did take it over Burkish earlier. You're right. That's going to be a run back for Burkish. See if they can get it to happen this time. But, you know, we couldn't make any of this happen if it weren't for the fact that we have some of our lovely, lovely supports, such as all of our viewers contributing to the Matcherino. If you type !Matcherino up, don't even need to, our lovely bracket runner taking care of it for us. Click on that link, donate to that pod. It does go entirely to the players. Fuels all of our players to keep coming back. Make sure you hit those sponsor quests as well, as Doc has been telling you about all day long. Get this bracket some incentive to keep running month after month.
Yeah, and I mean, the sponsor quests do go a long way. I know that having used them a little bit personally, like they do help a lot. You do get a lot of support from the community, which is really great. Honestly, you love to see the community supporting the community, whether it's as simple as a retweet, a like, a follow, what may be. And again, it supports the pots of your tournaments everywhere. So if you're in anybody's tournament bracket and you're just chilling in the chat, you can do !Matcherino and support it for the most part. And it's the same thing here. Click the link, claim the codes. It only takes an extra second, and every bit of it does going to support tonight's players, as well as you guys can go ahead and follow BostonBlueBeat on Twitter in and of itself, at BostonBlueBeat on Twitter, as well as Twitch.tv, which, unless you're in the venue right now, you're already there. So since you're there already, not hard to go ahead and click that follow button to continue to support the stream.
And you know what? If you are in the venue, I know you hear us. You got phones. You can get to that Matcherino too. That's right. You in the hat. You in the hat and the red sweatshirt. Matcherino right now. Let's go.
Don't you guys have phones?
Don't you guys have phones?
Don't you guys have wallets? Wait, no, hold on. Wait. That's toxic.
You know what we do got, though, between this match is mixed. We got Chip. We got, looks like Bridget coming out, too.
No, it's going to be Nagoriyuki.
It's going to be the Naga. Wouldn't that be something, though?
I don't think
Mozz broke
Mozz...
out grand finals, Bridget.
It would be impressive, but I don't even know if Mozz knows other characters exist in this game other than their opponents.
Do they need to?
No, not as long as Nagoriyuki's in the game.
They're in grands on winners. That's all you need.
This character definitely overtuned. I cannot wait for the next balance patch. Hopefully we can kneecap Nagoriyuki a little bit. Although, again, if we go by results, they're also not exactly showing up super well.
Yep.
But
I don't know. Hitashi's in top 8 of pretty much every tournament.
So one. We got one.
Oh, we got one. Okay, fair.
And they don't travel to every event. They weren't at East Coast Throwdown last week. That's fair. I'll give them a pass. I know why they weren't there.
That's true. They were
moving,
so real life got in the way. Burst coming out already from Burkish into a 6P. Good. Yeah. Confirm into a wall break means positive bonus. We've been talking about it all day. The chip snowball is in full effect here. Look for the throw. Been representing it all day. Nope, go into the air.
Was definitely expecting the jump out attempt there from Nagoriyuki, but isn't able to pick up after the RC. Might not need it. And burst safe, but you're still alive? Yo!
Big body guts, a little bit of scaling. This is so much damage for Nago. You have one more shot. That's not quite enough. You're still alive.
But not ideal situation. BRC forward into the 2K. Does catch the regular backdash there of Nagoriyuki. No Fukio that time.
And that is that benefit that you have from having meter going into the wall break reset as opposed to coming out of the wall break reset.
Yeah, and the benefit of carrying your burst into round 2 is you do get to use it as soon as you feel pressured, whereas it's looking like Burkish might not get that option this round. They might have to wait for a round. They definitely have to wait for a round 3.
That is disgusting damage. Mom, come pick me up. I want to go home. Nago damage.
Yeah, I'm not having fun, Mom. Bring me home, please. But, that was such a risky round start from Burkish.
He got the bait again. This damage is absurd. He's got meter to back himself up. Again, he's in the corner. Pick up. Yes, indeed. Close slash into the 6H. You blew up, man. You blew up.
That is obscene amounts of damage. Nagoriyuki taking game 1, and this is first to 3, but it's also grand finals. So in order to continue staying in the tournament, Burkish does need to win 3 into the reset, whereas to end the tournament, Mozz just has to win 2 more games.
Yep. That winner's side benefit coming through indeed. You see the throw representation.
Oh, no, not again.
The side switch combo, the wall splat. He doesn't have enough meter for super, thank goodness.
That said, you're still at 50%, down positive bonus and burst, and Mozz can really just do what they want this game. They're going to get beat up a little bit, but they could YRC, they could burst. There's a lot they can do here. They could even reversal overdrive.
I haven't seen a lot of that this tournament, have seen a bit of it. Oh, look at all of these just blocks. Keeps Chip in range to fall to the reversal super in between Rekka 2 and 3. RC after the super because you got full meter. Doesn't quite convert though.
Did get the 1 touch, but it wasn't enough to kill.
Full
Command
risk,
grab.
full risk.
Yeah, risk
Not
is
quite
quite high, but a really nice backdash.
2K closes it out.
All that work from Burkish, and they still lose the round.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is really tragic to see. But I do like to see the just blocks coming through, right? It's something that when the game released, people said was incredibly difficult to do. The buffer window on that was incredibly low. It was like 2 frames or something
like 2 or
ridiculous.
3, yeah.
They did buff it. It's not quite back to where it was in previous titles, but it's still impressive to be getting that many in a row.
All right, resetting with throws. Grip meter available for both. Wall combo, do you even bother? No, we're saving that for the next round.
Yep. And again, I think that's the right call from Mozz. Once you got that hit there, not like it's a burst bait basically the whole way through, unless you're hitting it like as he's touching you, which even then is still tough because the timing is just not there. But now that you're in the corner, I could see a burst happening on next hit.
Good challenge.
Fukio backwards, just trying to keep the pressure going. Gets the back throw. Really good stuff coming in from Mozz.
Throw in response coming out of Burkish. That burst does nothing. Full corner carry coming out for Burkish here. Has the meter, doesn't get to spend it. Wasn't quite in range. Look for a BRC. Nope.
Probably a red RC.
There it is.
That was really smart, though. Just challenging with the Abare. Does not want to deal with anything, and they know that their 5P is going to be much faster than anything Mozz can bring to the table.
All right, so not going to be a blowout. 1 apiece. Burkish getting some momentum for themselves.
Yeah.
Really afraid of Mozz getting momentum because a Naga with momentum is crazy.
Yeah, I definitely would be afraid too, but you know, Chip being one of the few 3-frame characters in the game, you hear that talk a lot from Street Fighter players, but it's actually kind of godlike in Guilty Gear if you can really take advantage of it. But Gold Burst there from Mozz gives them all the tension they could need. They're already 50 down in the hole, but what did they get for it?
Grip of damage, back to the corner.
Yeah, on their own side though.
Bit of risk.
Yeah. And look at that pressure into the overdrive. They should still be alive. Scaling plus guts is a beast these days.
Walk up 6K. Overhead is the option. Overhead is the deal. Overhead seals it.
Oh my God. So scary.
No! Didn't get the DP punish. That could have been, if not a one-shot, very near.
And you know what's crazy? Burkish doesn't play a 3-frame character in Street Fighter V either, so they're feeling super blessed on these defensive situations. But they're going to be able to keep the pressure going. There's no burst. There's no YRC. That burst is coming, though, now available, but makes it burst safe by opting into the overdrive. Not dead, but positive bonus, plus Oki, everything a Chip could want in the world.
Gets the offense running. Cancel out a Rekka 2.
Is that enough?
Command throw. Meter is built. There was no time to burst. You can wait as long as you want. You can just go for an OTG for all you care. Gonna get that hard knockdown off the RC. That's 2-1 in favor of Burkish.
Yeah, Burkish looking very strong here in the potential reset game. They do have to fight into a burst as they've already expended theirs, but they've felt very comfortable, honestly, with letting Mozz continue to keep that. As we go through the wall one more time, it really doesn't look like a lot of damage, chat, but it doesn't have to be. all the time. Sometimes you're wishing it was.
Yeah, every now and again it's nice to get the big damage, but Death by 1,000 cuts is a perfectly valid way to win the game.
That's
and
it.
The fact that Burkish has been able to win neutral interactions so often is leading to this snowball time and time again. Going for the confirms into supers, winning neutral interactions into confirms into supers gets you 1 round away from a reset here in Grand Finals.
Yeah, reset point for Burkish is just out neutraling Mozz
Every time.
start to finish. Like, not even a little bit contention, but the problem against Nagoriyuki is at any second you can die.
Yeah.
Any single whiffed DP into any single whiffed heavy normal just melts your HP bar away. We get the side swap. We get the wall break. Everything Mozz's favor right now.
Bar and half a blood down to 1. FD coming out from Mozz, but we get the cross up. Forcing Mozz back into the corner is Burkish. Doesn't quite get the conversion. That's okay. Double overhead. Gold burst gets Mozz out of the corner. Charge dust is covered by the RC. Doesn't quite close it out with the close slash.
Oh no.
Rekka 3 overhead.
That's a scary thing, but it is just a one-touch game here for Mozz. Oh, the mix. Oh, don't let it happen to you, Mozz. Don't be that guy. Command grab. No burst available. It's not enough to hurt, and the slash did not connect.
2P challenge just quick enough.
So still reset point, but Mozz could take us to the next game if they so chose, if they so wanted to win a round.
If that was in their best interest.
Oh my God. Nice burst.
Immediately comes out.
Yeah, Burkish definitely has the better bursts between the two players right now.
Yep.
But with that being gone now, blocks that. I'm actually torn. So the best tool, that's
Covered
an interesting
by RC.
option. Oh, but it worked out. So we are going to reset. Not to sound unexcited about a reset, but I was just like, I had a thought in my head. But yeah, good stuff from Burkish to be able to outmaneuver Mozz that round. But the best tool against Nagoriyuki, if you can get a free punish on their burst, on their blood pop like that, is command grabs.
Yes, because it lasts so long.
Yes, and that whole time his bar is ticking away. It's like the command grabs pause a lot of things in this game. Blood burst, health drain is not one of them. That's why if you're playing Zato Nagoriyuki, every single time that blood pops, they get command grabs. Zato has one of the longest command grabs in the game, sure, but it takes forever. So the health bar just disappears, and it does like 30% HP. Yeah. So it hurts. But Chip's in that same boat. He could have done that same thing. Honestly, I think it might have killed at that point, but he won the round anyway, so who am I to say?
Yeah, and that brings us back to round 1 in Grand Finals reset. Both players coming out of losers. Burkish fighting hard for that reset off of the back of winning neutral over and over. Gonna have to see what the adaptation out of Mozz is.
Oh, scooped.
Just a few neutral interactions in his favor. Not happening yet, though.
Burkish was definitely expecting the burst in that situation. They got the 6K red RC sequence. But Mozz is honestly holding burst forever, making burst save combos, though. Burkish is ready for it. And it makes this next sequence a one-touch. There's going to be no opportunity for a burst this round unless you just truly believe in your comeback potential.
And, you know, if you're going to believe in someone's comeback potential, Nago is not a bad character to believe in. Gets the setup on the pop after the counter hit. Needs one more hit from either way, looking for a throw.
That was actually a really smart decision from Burkish there.
Yes.
Recognized they weren't going to be in time to actually punish the mask pull down, but they backdashed the DP attempt.
On the board again is Burkish. How many rounds straight for Burkish is this?
Not many, because remember, Mozz just won it in the reset point.
Yeah, that's fair. Ooh, the pop into a bad burst. Losing all of this health. Does not have meter for the super, however.
So the wall splat there actually did pause the HP drain. But that counter hit is going to hurt. No burst available, but actually drops the combo. Picks it up again. Jesus, Burkish is literally throwing away this lead. That's insane. That's insane.
Look, man, sometimes you just go be a ninja and it pays off. That's 1-0 for Burkish already.
What was that, the 5H?
I'm not sure.
It was definitely one of the slash buttons, so it was either it was negative double digits. I'll put it that way.
Yep.
Which is why that sequence worked out. But Burkish this time on the receiving end of that damage. Oh my! Everything going wrong here for Burkish. Gets a back throw though. You definitely saved the burst from both characters, I would say.
Baiting out the YRC gives Burkish this advantage, but the 6P after the neutral reset gets Mozz a little bit of momentum.
Yeah.
Burst for the tempo coming out of Burkish. I love that idea. You're already down one of these 2 hearts.
Yeah, unless the HP was in a much different situation. See, and if you command grab there, you can't burst.
Yeah, I agree. That would have been burst safe.
Air throw
for Mozz.
into the OTG. Catches the backdash with the BRC. Really smart decision making there from Mozz. And I like that they're saving the burst for the blood pop because Burkish doesn't respect that option.
Yeah, I agree. If there's a baked-in situation where you are in significant trouble that you know your opponent isn't playing around correctly, getting yourself out of that trouble basically for free is huge.
That 2P catching the air Alpha Blade was really clean from Mozz there. Command grab not going to connect. Went for the air throw as well, but some reason that whiffed as well. A barre coming out of Burkish. Gets the normal throw. Going for the double re-jump option, but Mozz ready for it. Gets the back throw. Dust punished as well. That's an odd decision. Very odd decision.
He didn't have burst. He had meter for RC. Maybe he was looking for that. If he fat fingered, if he doesn't use the macro.
The macro, maybe, yeah. But corner control.
Command throw. Oh my God. Blood. Meaty clone keeping advantage on. Has enough for RC. Instant overhead, but the BRC is in fact blocked, but the counter hit on the 2D means that is another win for Mozz. 2-1 tournament point for Mozz. The momentum is all the way back in his favor at this point.
It seems like Mozz may have caused the reset simply for content. That's crazy. You get to just do all this, come out ahead at the end of the day, and you get a good story out of it. So Mozz now 2-1 over Burkish. And all those adjustments that we saw from Burkish in the first set between these two, they're not getting the same mileage as they did earlier.
A little bit of adaptation coming back from Mozz as well. The PRC, look for the throw, but good jump coming out of Burkish. Throw in response, looking for this corner pressure. That's a safe jump to get things started with. 6K, another party starter for Chip. A lot of mileage out of Chip's 6K this tournament.
Yeah, lots of blood currently in the bar here for Mozz as well. Not going to end up mattering as the overhead comes through. And a little after round of bar there with the 5P.
A lot of 6P round start coming out of Mozz this round.
Oh, the 5K.
Stuffing out the clone.
Yeah.
Not quite enough, but close.
And that's something that, you know, has really frustrated Burkish, I would say, is people interrupting his clone.
Hard knockdown coming through. Playing the ranged game. In bar 2 of blood.
Alpha Blade coming out, gets the overhead as well. Oh, no punish on the whiff there. Backdashing the Beyblade is so risky, but it works out that time for Burkish. Going to take us to the corner. Doesn't get a splat. And the back throw, no OTG.
Can't close it out quite yet. Looking for a throw. Blood pop keeps him safe from the approach.
Oh, but into the overdrive. That's not enough.
It could have been a command throw again. Gold burst. Can he confirm it? There he is. The clone forward. One more round, and Mozz will take this tournament. Burkish, you got to make it happen here. Round start DP into the command grab.
Oh, everything going wrong. The spaghetti is on the floor. It's all over the sweater, too. Burkish now being forced to block in this P1 corner, and this is where Mozz is going to flourish. They even went for the 6P attempt there. Chases down the Alpha Blade.
Block.
Is that enough?
He's got the damage.
That's dead.
He's got the combo. He's got the DP. That is going to be it. Mozz in the reset takes grand finals over Burkish here at BostonBlueBeat Strive Tournament.
So that was a really crazy grand finals, in all honesty. Lots of great adaptations from both players, right? That was a winners semifinals rerun between Burkish and Mozz there. And, you know, it was a 3-1 the first time they met. Yep. And here in the grand finals reset, once again, we're seeing a 3-1. In between that, yes, Burkish won a 3-2, but that was That was really close. I want to say congratulations to Burkish for making it that far.
Absolutely.
They had to beat a ton of really strong players to even get to that point, and so they were very successful in that sense. They claimed second, which is no slouch. That is, like I said, they beat Kazam, which is a strong contender in all tournaments everywhere. Mozz, I'm sure if they traveled more consistently, would again be a fairly consistent competitor. So you love to see that from really all of the players here tonight. And honestly, they showed up at all, which is all you can ask for in terms of an offline event at this point, is players to be showing up and having a good time.
Yep, absolutely. Supporting the scene, building a scene that they want to be a part of. And if you want to contribute to building this scene, you can hit that match now. And you can stick around to watch our next bracket. I believe next up is going to be Blaze Blue, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
The marquee game for BostonBlueBeat.
True.
It's been a good time. We'll continue to be so, and make sure you support with that match now. And shout out to our sponsors for helping us support as well. That partnership with Junk Food Arcades is it's a big deal. They're really, really great people over there. Really great products. We're very, very happy to be working with them, and very happy to be bringing you all these tournaments today.
Yeah. I think we're going to be getting a commentator swap.
I'm not casting Blaze Blue. I don't know if you are.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to be getting a commentator swap because I don't know anything about this game. So
I'll do it anyway if they want me to.
No, I do think somebody else is here for that. But don't worry, chat. If you've run the match arena, if you've run the support and hit the follow both on Twitch and on Twitter, we want to thank you so much because of that. It means a lot to us here at BostonBlueBeat. So thank you for showing up. Stay tuned where there will be more Blaze Blue Central Fiction action in just a couple minutes.